I get a little coat? My name on it. Yeah, he's like, I got.
That's a big boom. It's already gone. There they go. Off the line.
Here we go. We are off the line now. Big fireworks are kicking off.
But definitely different motor sounds, as you guys can hear in the background.
And this is our EMC class. This will be our 4600, 4800, and 4500 class, as well as our street stock in there.
So 3 different classes running all in one race, kind of like we did just with the UTVs. In the 4600 stock class, we had Tyler Simmons. He was our #1 qualifier. Number 2, Mick Henson did not start on the qualifying.
Good morning. There we are. Again,
Hi.
like I said, we have the 4400, which will be starting later at 4 o'clock today. Right now, currently, they're just taken off the line, was our 4500 mod class, our 4600 stock class, and our limited 4800 class. Getting ready to head that first lap in. Like I said, our fireworks always kick us off. It's always a good time.
So qualifying order yesterday, the main lineup, it was the #1 position was Tyler Sims. We had Mick Henson, #2. Matt Gresser was in 3rd position. Chris Miller, 4th. Justin Barth, who just finished racing in the UTV race. He's already back out on course in that #5 spot. Travis Forshee, who goes by Peanut, 6th position. Jody Ford, 7th. Connor Foltz, 8th. Trevor Foltz, 9th. Dwayne Garrettson, 10th. 11th, Cody St. Clair, and 12th, Troy Digby. Those are how the qualifying order started. But as we just saw, they did a Le Mans style start to where they ended up, whoever gets out front, right?
Yeah, kind of erases that real quick.
Yes.
What's up, Josh Maple? Kyle Rowley tuning in. Chris Grimes jumping in there. It's always cool to see where everybody's tuning in from.
Yeah, let us know where you're at. If you're just a fan watching at home, let us know where you're watching from. We'll give you a shout out once we see it. It's super exciting to give the shout out to the fans that are watching at home.
It's always cool to see how many different countries we have jumping in, tuning in. It's always neat to see. Again, this is the 918 Grand Prix race. It is not for points, and it is not part of the Ultra 4 series. So we're kicking that off today. Again, this is we have some Ultra 4 races coming later this season, but because it was so soon, they decided not to make this an Ultra 4 race because most guys are still trying to get their stuff torn apart and put back together for Hammers after Hammers. So it'll be coming up their first race, the King of Hammers or the Ultra 4 series, their first race as at Moab coming up here in a few weeks.
Yes, it's like the first weekend of April, Moab, Utah at Area BFE, which is such a super cool race course. That one right there, there's lots of rocks there that are tire eaters, and it's a fun course. So after we are at Moab April 1st and 2nd, we will be at Rush, Kentucky at the Rush Off-Road April 23rd and 24th. So that is the first East Coast Series race, points race. Moab will be the first West Coast points race. And then May 13th and 14th, we'll be back in California, actually at Prairie City. It's been a little bit since Ultra 4 has been there. That'll be a West Coast Series race. June 17th through 19th, we'll be in South Pittsburgh, Tennessee at Adventure Off-Road Park. That's a super cool park as well.
Yeah, AOP is a local favorite for a lot of bouncer guys.
It is, and then coming in July is the Visions race. That is a double points race right here at Jay, Oklahoma, and then we'll be going to Sturgis August 5th through 7th.
Which is a good time.
Bike Week.
Yes, which is always a good time when you get, and it's so cool to see bikes and cars together, and a lot of bikers guys ask, like, what kind of car is that? Like, what do you do this for? They don't necessarily know what it is, but they know they like it, you know?
Right. And, at the race last year, people were coming over on their bikes.
Yes.
Watching from the sidelines on their bikes. And then we'll be in Crandon, Wisconsin at the huge, Crandon is Crandon.
Oh, yeah.
If you haven't heard of Crandon, you definitely need to look it up. September 2nd through 4th, and then October 26th through 30th is Legends of the Fall right down the road.
Yeah.
Is where that will be. And so lots of awesome venues.
Yes.
That are being put on. JT Taylor mentioned that he's scouting out some new
ones.
Got
some stuff in the works.
It's awesome to hear.
Curtis turning in from Lake Fork, Texas. I guess we got a bunch of Texas guys. We're fairly close to Texas here. So, fairly close to Texas.
So it looks like on course right now, Dwayne Garrettson's physically in that second position. I did not see the number on the #1 vehicle. But they are not as muddy. Actually, no, Dwayne Garrettson's in 3rd position physically. This is so cool. The drivers are so excited.
And on the first lap, it's kind of easy. By the 2nd or 3rd lap, everybody gets so mixed up. It's like you try to figure out what lap everybody's on, what the lead times are. Again, the course is a lot of fun. We had Chip up here talking about how fun the course is, and pretty much everybody that's come up here has said how fun it is, how enjoyable it is. So
well, and then you have he was saying in the background, like we were talking about last night, and you've seen the course, but there is that barn that they drive through. And so JT Taylor was talking about how he went and they changed the jump on that because if they wouldn't have, they were kind of jokingly who would touch the top of it.
Yes.
So
I think JT, I think Chip could have done that very easily.
Well, because Chip happens. We all know that's
Chip
his hashtag.
Happens. Yep.
His hashtag Chip happens is, I see that quite often.
Oh, yeah? Cody St. Clair out here. We had him on the interview this morning. Talked to him a little bit.
Yes, and he is now out on course. He was the 11th qualifier yesterday.
Mick Henderson out there in the Toyota. I seen the Toyota trucking along earlier.
So we were talking earlier also with Chip about qualifying times. So the UTVs, they qualified, 2 seconds faster than Levi Shirley. Actually, it was 4 seconds if I'm looking at my timing right here. So Paul Wolf was the #1 qualifier yesterday at a 1:06. And Levi Shirley was a 1:10. So that goes to show you that the smaller cars on this course are faster. But when it comes down to it, Levi Shirley, he definitely with a 1:10, that was good. But the top 5 UTV qualifiers yesterday were faster than Levi Shirley.
Which is crazy. Again, like I said, I know that Chip talked a little bit about how, like the top 3 guys in there were faster than he was. It was pretty crazy.
Yeah, and he qualified in the 2nd position. So yeah, it's super cool to see the UTVs out there qualifying so fast. But we have out on course right now the EMC class. We're roughly thinking of, about 3 hours like it was for the last one?
I would say about the same. Maybe a hair longer, maybe a hair shorter. Again, we don't have as many of the EMC class here as we did side-by-sides. So
what's really cool, too, about it is each race that's out here today, so the UTV class, then the EMC class, and now 4400s will be our last race of the day. There's not any change in lap times. Every single one of our classes, they are all doing 10 laps of 9.18 miles. And it goes along with the theme of the race, the 918.
Yes,
so it's the 918.
Which is awesome. I love the fact that they took their area code, turned in a race. That's really cool.
It is. It is super awesome. And then we just, the UTV racers that came in earlier, we had Colin Truitt came in as that unofficial winner, and he was super pumped. He's a short course racer.
Yes, good times.
You see you're going through all your notes.
Trying to make sure. We
right.
only have 2 4600 cars. One is a Toyota and one is a Bronco, so those will be really easy to pick out.
I did see the Toyota because it's a tan. I did see him coming through the goalie that's right here to our right. So we have our schedule. We went through on that. Today at 4 o'clock, we will be starting the Unlimited Class main race. Again, all of them doing 91.8 miles. So it's super exciting. We did see the UTVs. Some of them did come in and do some fueling just because even though it's only 91.8 miles, if they're running a stock tank, they will not be able to make that whole course for the 91.8 miles. And we have some sponsors to give a shout out to. We have Nitto Tires. We have Ultimax, which are a belt. They are UTV belts. Ford, Rigid Industries, and the Maxxis and Raceline wheels.
You didn't have drone yet? No. I don't have any drone content right now. We don't have anything.
Working on getting the drones back up in the air here in a little bit.
We got some drones.
I've been getting all kinds of messages saying how they're loving the live feed, the drone footage.
And again, with that snow out there this morning, the footage was beautiful.
It's still beautiful out there.
It is.
Now you can just see the course more because it's getting burnt in.
Yeah.
But out here at Mid-America this year, there is all kinds of events. We have a whole event calendar. You can go on their website. I'm just going to show you guys. I'm not going to go through every single one of them. But on the website, you can go through, and it'll tell you every single event. There's another event going on next weekend, which is the Mid-America Side-by-Side. And it's actually going to be round one for the side-by-side racing. It looks like there's some pro rock racing going on.
Yep.
You know more about all of this. And then what is it coinciding with again?
So there's a thing called Big Meat Run. Basically, it's an event that's going on 15, 20 years. A bunch of guys got together, had a good time, did some wheeling, did some rock crawling, like 5 minutes down the road from here, 10 minutes down the road. And it started, and it grew a little bit each year. At 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock, usually everybody gets together in this one area. There's a big hill called Viagra. Right next to it's a little bit different hill called Cialis, and that's kind of where everybody gathers. And you have to go through like a small little creek and then climb up this massive rock face. So your tires get very wet, and they get slick, and then you have to kind of go up, and then it cuts over to a V. So you have to hit it fast enough to keep some momentum going and then slide over.
Okay.
So you're kind of power sliding on the side of the hill. Some guys hit it really fast, other guys trying to crawl it. So everybody kind of gets around and watches everybody try it. And some guys get a little more liquid courage in them, and they want to hit it as fast as they can. So it's always a good time to get around and watch and have a lot of fun. And it's a huge thing going on years, and now obviously Jason's teamed up with them to help that grow that event, and it's going to be a good time. So that is going on, and short course racing going on same exact time. We're going to try to give you some footage of each, so to give you guys a good variety of see some different action. Obviously, that will be more bouncer events type stuff, and plus there's a crawling event. I mean, there's lots and lots of stuff going on, as well as there's short course here. So short course will be obviously that's their first short course event. Plus they have pro rock stuff going on, like I said, the big bouncers. So it'll be a lot of fun, lots of cool action going on. So again, it's kind of hard. It's good and bad because you have tons of action. Bad because you have literally two different events happening 10 miles away that you have to cover at the same time. So
and I hear the numbers of people, like the crowd.
Oh,
they're roughly like
huge.
In the 10,000 range at the other event, and then here they're expecting quite a large crowd.
And the town's about that big, so it's like doubling the capacity of a town, kind of like Moab during Eastern Jeep Safari. You have this little town that becomes this massive place because everybody just pours in for this big awesome week. So
it's like Crandon.
Yeah, it's like Crandon.
Crandon. I mean, there's 50, 60,000 people in Crandon.
Oh yeah.
It's amazing how that town just accommodates that many people. I love Crandon. That's probably one of my favorite events to go to. But it definitely, Moab is a small town too. Not as small as Crandon, though.
Yes.
Crandon's a lot smaller.
Yeah. But it's a good time. Like I said, it's a lot of fun.
It will be a lot of fun for sure. But
Again,
all of this.
We got 4,800 cars. We got 4,600 cars and 4,500 cars all on the track right now. So we have, like I said, two of the 4,600 guys. Mick and Tyler are both out there. Mick is running a Toyota, and Tyler's running the Ford. So excited to see the 4,600 guys get out there. And I think would be one of the funnest. It's kind of like battling this in a side-by-side.
Right.
Getting out there, having fun with it, and just having a good time racing. Like I said, this is not an Ultra 4 event. There's no we do have timing, but this is not for any points. This is not a points race for Ultra 4. That'll kick off here in, like I said, a few weeks. So this is the 918 Grand Prix race. This is Mid-America's kind of endurance race they wanted to come out with. So it's going to be a lot of fun today. We're just kicked off our middle section of the day, and then we have the big cars coming later on tonight. And there's, like I said, about 20 of those guys coming out. It's going to be a good time, and they're definitely going to hammer down. So
and they're going to need to more than likely have their light bars on as well.
Again, they're going to start at 4 o'clock. It starts getting dark around 5:30, and if they're going for 3 hours, it'll be 7 o'clock, 7:30 before they start rounding out. So
they'll need them.
It is kind of interesting to see how the time. I'm really excited to see how the times are going to evolve. They start out really fast because you can see everything is crystal clear. As you start, your mask gets a little dirty, a little muddy, you start getting a little tired. Things start to get darker. Trees start to kind of jump out in front of you. So it'll be interesting to see how the times play out.
And on screen just now, that was Justin Barth. He just finished the UTV race, and now he's back on course again. Do you think he took a small break and grabbed a bite to eat?
It's not. If he did, it wasn't much of a break.
No.
We only had about 20 minutes from the time we shut down to the time we started the live feed back up. So, and he would have to be in his car, 3 to 5 minutes before that. So we only had about a 10, 15-minute window to hop out of the car, get some neat, swash down some liquid, and hop right back in the next car, strap in, and get ready to go. So make sure everything's, obviously all the fluid's topped off, check your air pressures. So it's doesn't take long to get from one car to the next. And again, that's kind of cool to see guys doing double duty this weekend.
Yes, and he came into pit earlier in his car. I believe he was in a Polaris. He came in and was in there for quite a bit. He was running up there in those top spots, and there's some rocks out there that I keep hearing, rumor of that's why a lot of them are coming in with some flats. So I'm interested to see if the larger vehicles with the bigger tires are going to have the same issues today.
Yeah, it's interesting to see. Like I said, we saw so many guys come with flats. There has to be some jagged rocks that aren't really, like I said, the hard mud may not shown the tips of them. And like I said, we started seeing the later laps. We started seeing quite a few flat tires coming in.
Those are jumping rocks.
Yeah. Paul Wolf came in and talked a little bit about his diff. He had blown a front diff, and that's why the first lap I said, we saw you come on a flat tire. We thought you'd change and head back out. And he goes, well, the flat tires because I was in two-wheel drive, and I was driving way too hard in two-wheel drive. He said, but I had broke a front diff early in the day, and he said I was, had an issue with the brakes and some other stuff. So he said, I just, we called it a day. And he said, sucks we didn't get to come out and do some more racing, but he said, we'll be back next weekend for the short course stuff. So
yeah, he's definitely one of those up top guys. I mean, he won the shootout this year.
Yeah.
At Hammers. Yep. And he's one of those that's on his rail at all times. Hey, we have Mr. Joey Beck back up here with us. He's going to give us some information again.
I'm in.
Locked and loaded.
Man, it's been a whirlwind this morning. We've had a lot of fun. That was an exciting UTV event, and just kicking off the EMC classes here. It's really been awesome.
It has. It's been a lot of fun to watch from right here.
What were most of your drivers saying as they came in?
Well, the UTV guys, they were really just trying to relay how the course changed.
Yeah.
So when they all started the day, it was a similar story. It was slick. It was messy. There was a lot of cars. It was fast. We were sliding around. And then something started evolving around lap 4, 5, and 6. It started tacking up. Sun came up, got a little warmer. The conditions started changing. So what that created was, okay, now my driving style has to change. Where I was sliding corners, now I'm catching tires, and we started seeing more attrition. I started hearing and talking to some of the guys about belt issues. They were saying that when they were out there in those fields, they would hit those washouts and they were still under the gas, and where they were spinning earlier in the day, now they had traction and it was breaking belts, and multiple guys out there changing more than one belt on course.
And we've seen that guys coming into the hot pits here trying to get belts changed and figure stuff out. And we kind of talked a little bit about that this morning about how whether I figured it would be nice and hard packed since it was so cold. The mud behind us was, walking on concrete this morning. I said, well, as the day progresses, it's going to start getting, warmer and get a lot slicker. So it's kind of interesting to see that they said the exact opposite. It was slick this morning, and then as the track warmed up, it dried out. And now with the big cars, I think you'll see them, hopefully speed up a little bit more.
Well, 100%, it's going to be different for these big cars. One, they're not dealing with belts.
Yeah,
So these guys, they can hammer on them. What they are going to have to watch is their driveline systems. They still got the same issues. There's still axles. There's still U-joints. There's still drive shafts and transmissions and transfer cases. We can see some of these guys starting to come back into the back of Thunder Valley right now from this drone shot. The guys out here with the drones doing a fantastic job. Man, yeah, they're already starting to come in and come over the front right here. Some of our leaders right here. That should have been the Fultz coming through.
Yeah, that was Connor Fultz coming through.
All right,
on the second one.
So these guys, they're making short work. Hopefully we can get a confirmation of some times here in just a minute coming from scoring on how fast their lap times were. That's been the question all day, is asking how fast can these cars run compared to what the UTVs were doing, because the UTVs were absolutely flying on this course.
Yeah, it was. We were kind of watching as they would drop the leaderboard every once in a while. I'd try to skim real quick to see what our fastest time is. 16 looked to be right around the fastest time. She was getting word that we might have had some guys in the 15s. I mean, that is absolutely flying throughout the day. Yeah,
there was definitely some guys in the 15s. Our hot lap for the day was Mr. Knox Griffin with a 15:31 unofficially. He'll be taking home $2,500. So remember also for these classes here, for all our big car classes, there's another $2,500 bounty on the line for hot lap. So these guys were to have a bad day, it doesn't have to be the end of their day.
Yep.
That was Dwayne Garrett, so he just came through.
All right, so Dwayne just came through.
Rocking that Ford.
Well, man, I'm here to tell you there's a lot of different types of cars. I always enjoy this class. I know you've been announcing these classes for quite some time, Pam, and these guys have such a wide range of how they're built, what they build, the drive lines they use. This is a very different class, in my opinion. You've got so many different things going on in this class, and I always enjoy seeing and comparing how they're running. And when they run at the same time, it's cool to see how maybe some of the stock guys are pushing hard to run with some of those other upper class guys, and it's really cool. And they all got a lot of heart.
Exactly. It's awesome to see these guys out here. This is probably My most difficult to announce because there are so many different classes, and I have, it gets confusing here and there, but it's definitely probably my favorite one to see them out there. Now, the first car that came through was Trevor Foltz, second was Connor Foltz, and then Dwayne Garrison. So we've had 3 cars come through on that first lap so far.
And again, we haven't seen any come through for a second, so they must have been absolutely hauling on that first lap.
So, and Trevor, his lap time was a 17:24.
Okay, so pretty comparable to the side-by-sides.
So I told them I would be impressed if any of these guys go sub 17. So I think we're real close to where we thought we'd be on that. So those guys are still, that's considering how tight it is back there, that's not much slower than the UTV guys. So that's still a very strong pace, and that's a very big car to squeeze through some of those places back there because it does get single track in the woods. JT did a fantastic job, him and Gus and the team here on this course, and we took our Jeeps around it, and there were some tight squeezes for our full-size Jeeps.
Kind of what that's kind of what Chip talked about. He said, you're flying through some of those woods, you got this wide open area, a field, or, a mile wide, and you can drive as fast as you want, and then you come up to a tight turn. He said, you have to slow down, or those trees will reach out and grab you. You really got to pay attention. It's very articulate. It's very technical.
If you look right now on course, I mean, that to me looks like moto style that they were just doing.
Yeah, it's really cool, too, to watch these guys.
That was Troy Digby just now that came through.
These guys are brothers, and they actually really like to compete with each other.
Are you talking about Connor and Trevor?
Yeah, 100%. They like to compete, and they come out to Rush last year, if you remember that event. One was driving the other's rig, and one of them shared their brother's rig, and they were all mixed up, but they were all still racing hard and trying to keep them all together. But that's what it's all about. These guys are true enthusiasts and having a lot of fun.
It's like the Gomez brothers, right? They're always competing so heavily against each other. But
it's like the Gomez brothers, but less wrecking.
Right. Less talking against each other.
I love the Gomez brothers. Those guys are absolutely wild. They put the fun in the sport on and off the track, and I can't wait for those guys to get out here with us, too, as we start the official Ultra 4 regional races.
Right. Yeah, and of course they'll be at Prairie City. I mean, that's their hometown.
Oh, yeah.
100%. And they'll be going – they'll always be going wild in Prairie City. They make that track what it is when they come out and put a show on. So.
Right. No, they definitely are a hoot. When they're all up on the podium together, that's probably like the best interviews right there. And Raul, he just came off the KOH win, and I was so honored to get to interview him as he came across.
I tell people all the time, they're some of the biggest rednecks I know because they're the most ornery guys, and their pits afterwards, they're so ornery to each other. Not very polite, nice to everybody else, but to each other, they are so ornery, teasing each other. Just it's very clear to tell they're all family.
So I was at Remote Pit 1 this year, and during their race on Saturday, hearing the radio chatter.
Oh, my goodness.
And I wasn't even by their truck. I'm sitting there cracking up laughing because these guys are such a hoot. But
I'm sure they were talking trash to each other as they're flying down the race course,
They do. They say they do. But, no, they shared lines, this year. They did a little more pre-running and sharing. And, But, no, it's super exciting to see them. They'll be out with us again, and it'll be exciting. It's going to be an exciting year.
Yeah, 100%. We've seen their program come so far. They're top competitors every time they pull up somewhere now. They're a force to be reckoned with, and they're going to continue that legacy and build it further. And I know that there's younger Gomez's and part of that family that's going to be the next generation. So excited to see where, 10 years from now, who all's racing.
And Raul's son, Darian, is in his old 83.
That's right.
And Darian, or not Darian, but Raul's car this year was brand new. It showed up to the lake bed Tuesday before the race.
Yep.
I mean, and it came out and it won. That goes to show the dedication in the team and having their vehicles prepared and ready.
Yeah, and was it JP that had the accident at the end of the race? I mean, he was set up in the top 5, I believe. He was running good. I was watching that live when it happened. That was super unfortunate, but that's part of racing in the desert.
Right, exactly.
We just had Mick Henderson come through in a stock Toyota.
Oh, that's great.
We got a few guys. That's our stock. He's one of our 2 stock drivers we have. We have a couple 4,600 guys here out, and it's always great to see those guys on a 35-inch DOT tire. We have side-by-sides running 37s, so it's kind of interesting to see these guys on a huge chassis, huge big vehicle running a smaller tire than some of our, and it's a DOT tire compared to some of our side-by-side guys. So,
well, let me tell you something about Mick. He's a true wheel man. He don't play around. You'll catch him over in Disney climbing up the waterfalls and showing off with the crowd, and then he'll come out here and race that Toyota for 2-3 hours and run with the front crowd. He don't care, man.
And then probably go back to Disney and wheel.
That's right. He is a true enthusiast and a true sportsman. And speaking of sportsmen, we actually had a sportsman class which kind of grandfathered in some of what we were running in survival because those cars didn't meet some of the same qualifications. So we made a group just for those guys, and some of those came out here today. Unfortunately, some of them broke in pre-running, but we'll see those guys throughout the year as we start our regional races with Ultra 4.
And again, that's super exciting to see. You're going, hey, listen, well, a little different classification. Come on out. We'll make a category for you. Come on out. It's a good time. Like I said, you're getting a lot of guys racing, and I love seeing that. I was so happy when I found you guys did that to say, hey, we want you guys to have a place too here to come race. We'll figure it out. And then JT also talked about doing some of the newer bigger players side-by-sides with a 4-cylinder. He said, if you guys get 5 or more to come race, we'll make you a class just for you guys.
Yeah, I got one of them.
Which is super cool to see. So
I got one of those big boys, and when I tell you it's big, it's big. Yeah. It's bigger than my Jeep. Put it on a trailer behind my Jeep, and took it back off because it looked so goofy because it was bigger than my Jeep.
That's awesome.
Why didn't you just drive that here?
Yeah, it's they are a beast. I do have one of the 4-seaters, and
it's like the size of your Jeep then.
Yeah, it's huge. It literally is huge. It's a monster. It's a beast. It's strong. It's fast. It's definitely, in my opinion, not the same category as the UTVs that are racing right now.
Well, you think about it, you look at it, it cannot be in a UTV class because it's not competitive. I mean, obviously, the 4-cylinder is way bigger than what you're running, so you have to at least, hopefully get 5 of them and get a new class for them, and, who knows where that's going to take it, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's a big motor. It's a big difference, and that raw, naturally aspirated power, the way it delivers it all through, it's totally different. Who we got?
No.
Oh, he bobbled it. Rufus Racing.
No, that's so that was
Cody St. Clair.
I'm not sure who that was, but they
it was
touched tires.
It was part of Chip McLaughlin's group, I believe. Some of the Texas boys got on
Travis?
2 wheels.
No, 644. Yeah, that is Travis Forshee right there.
Yeah, he was on the side almost right here.
Almost.
Sorry, I'm like, when I see that,
it's great. You had the angle on it. I saw just the tip of it.
What's up, Charles Chris? Oh, look, a race car, part of that high-octane film crew. Eva Doss, my girlfriend, jumping in there, tuning in.
Oh,
on screen, they're trying to get Travis Forshee, which everybody calls him Peanut. Some people do not know his real name.
Well, it's just funny because when they first time they said his name, I was like, who? And they're like, oh, that's Peanut. I'm like, oh, okay.
Yeah, so they have him in pit. Looks like he might be having some issues. Now, with all this mud and everything, it can get caked up on, radiators and stuff and start making the cars overheat. And that's what I was wondering if that was going on with the UTVs this morning because so many of them kept stopping every lap.
Yeah.
So if you looked at some of those UTVs, they took some precautions this morning. They had mud screens or shields, which catches a little bit of that before it actually gets all the way onto the screen of the UTV radiator. But I will tell you that the big cars struggle a little more because they create more heat, and sometimes the way these cars are built, they only have a certain amount of space for that air to pass through because they got to keep these chassis light and tight. So what that creates is it's got to be really strategic on how you make those openings. If you allow too big an opening, you get too much mud and things thrown in there, or maybe you could damage your radiator. If your opening's too small, it clogs up quickly and you can't get air to pass through, and now you damage your engine. It's a catch-22 either way you go. So you gotta play with that, and that's why each one of these cars is a work of art. It takes a lot of thought and research and development to get through these things. So when these cars change hands, that's why it don't change hands for pennies. These things are still the time. You'll never get that time back, and that time is the most valuable asset of how you learned how to make that car work and to fight through these elements, because anybody can go build a car, but building one that can last these amount of miles and races and lengths, that is the tricky part.
And different elements.
That's it.
I mean, you don't always race in the mud, so some people will put, a different kind of air filter on there to where it's facing backwards or whatever, so they're not getting mud in it. But yet, there's so many different elements to racing. You got, desert racing, which happens at Hammers. They have the, the desert portion. So you have all that dust. I mean, like this year, the biggest complaint this year was there was no breeze and they couldn't see like the first couple laps this year. So all the different elements could play in with all of the different the way it's built and the way it runs and everything else.
So I've raced King of the Hammers several times, and the big shock factor for me coming from the East Coast was I never even comprehended the element of how bad the dust could be or how I would have to fight it. And I can remember the first morning going across the lake bed, and that year we come out in 2016 in UTV class, and we cut across it early on in the course, and there was probably 30 or 40 of us all at one time coming across, and I just remember seeing the dust as it moved across, and we were half a mile wide and dust everywhere, and it's absolutely insane. And I mean, I wasn't prepared. I was
Right.
very ill prepared, and I drove off through the
It's a
desert and hit some Joshua trees and who knows what
oh
else. And,
goodness, it's
luckily,
a cloud. That cloud of dust is horrible.
yeah, it is. It's a cloud.
I used to desert race, so I totally know what you mean by that. So that was Justin Barth just now going over the jump.
Yeah, the number 417, Justin
Yes.
Barr. So Justin's had a lot of success. He had this car built. It's been a very solid car. He raced it in Survival, and now he's racing it. He's been racing it in Ultra 4. Now he's racing it out here with us today, and I look for him to do big things with this car. He keeps getting better and better in it. Justin had a good race today in the UTV class.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of times he'll run the race courses in his UTV, then turn around and race them again in his bigger car. I think that gives him a mindset of how fast and where he can push, and he already has some course conditions in mind, and I think there's definitely a good process in how he races both classes, although I'm sure it is very hard on his body.
Oh, I'm sure.
Very
Right.
hard mentally.
Well, that's what we were saying earlier. Like, what did you think he did? Did you think he
Oh,
went and
yeah.
grabbed a snack before, between races? He only had about 20,
Yeah,
30 minutes.
swallow a granola bar and get back in the car. About all you
Right.
got time to do.
Right, exactly. But yeah, he's definitely having fun out there. And here's one element, being a race car driver. So you're racing in your UTV, you now get into your bigger car. It's a different driving style.
Oh, yeah.
So
Yeah.
sometimes it's like, I was always talking to, Miles about this kind of stuff. It's like, do you think they have to completely reset on that first lap?
A little bit, and the reason why I say that is because sometimes a side-by-side is a lot more light and nimble, so it can corner and do some things that a big car can't, but then also a big car has a lot, usually like if you're in the 45, 4000 car, you'll have a lot bigger tire,
Right.
so there's some stuff you can kind of blaze into where a side-by-side you have to kind of take your time and bump over it, otherwise you'll just rip the suspension off the car. So yes and no. Again, talked about the course conditions, you have a really good feel on the pulse versus a guy who just hops in his car for the first time that day. You just spent 3 hours dialing everything in perfectly. You know exactly how fast you can come in that corner and exactly how fast you can come out of that corner. And so having that knowledge going in will give you, your light speeds ahead of the guy that's just getting ready to take off for the starting line. So
That's true. That is true.
we have some guys that do side-by-sides and bouncers as well, and you get that kind of feel, especially if you're racing on the same day. You get that kind of feel of the course and how it's going to travel. But again, like I said, we seen some guys make the transition from side to side to bouncers, whether you're racing or even in the same weekend. And obviously there is a little bit of a learning curve. So going from a small car to a big car depends how you have the suspension set up as well. But it's interesting. I think you're like I said, getting a feel for the course. At least you learn where you're going. That's my biggest thing.
Right.
Is am I turning right here or left here? Now luckily they've worn the course in pretty good this weekend. So
right?
Yeah, there's no doubt that back
You
there,
can see it on screen.
yeah.
back there, that the course is your gas on, brain off. You're not having to guess where you're going.
Yeah.
This course is really tracked in, really well laid out. JT
Oh, yeah.
did a phenomenal job marking it. Nobody's using a map out there. There's no need for any of that. Everybody got out here and pre-ran and saw how easily it was going to be for them to tell where they're going and to make those distinctions quickly. And there's a couple of either ors out there where you can go either direction. I think there was some wise choices early on. I think Colin Truitt spoke about that during his podium finish for the Pro Mod class and the UTV. And he said, you know what, I did my homework. I knew that left-hand line was a little faster. He said everybody kept sticking right. He said I feel like I was pulling away every time I went left. I had a clear open run, nobody in my way, and I kept pulling further and further away, and it ended up resulting that he was several minutes ahead of
Yes,
all
he
other
was.
UTVs.
which was
Yes.
impressive.
And he's racing here again next weekend in the short course series.
Yes, Colin and his father, both Mitch, will
Yes.
both be back, and they'll be racing in short course, and they've been doing a great job. Mitch had a rough start today, and calling Mr. Consistency. He fought hard all day. I don't know if he ended in 5th or 6th. I think he ended in 5th, but to come back out of 40 cars after having that tough start and all that, it's a testament to
Yeah.
the skill level and knowing how to keep a car going.
Gotcha. I don't know what happened at the start. I couldn't see. There's so much going on.
Pretty sure
but-
he was the one that rolled over.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
He wanted me to co-drive for him today.
Yeah.
That's right. You're friends with those guys.
Yeah.
Yeah, they live in my town. Yeah, or I live in their town. Whatever.
And we
Oh,
appreciate
it's
you
their
coming up.
town.
It's their
you
town. They were
you
there
just
first.
live in it.
They were there first,
Okay, all right.
like their whole life. I've only been there 2
Go ahead.
years.
All right, we'll be back right after these messages.
challenge. Maxxis tires can handle even the most punishing off-road conditions. Maxxis tires. Tread victoriously.
No matter how hard we tried, we just couldn't get longer life out of our belts.
That's why we're so excited when we found these new Gates Redline belts. They have a super simple 3-step process for breaking in your belt the right way. Clean the sheaths with a Scotch-Brite pad. Remove any old belt residue, glazing, oil, or debris on the clutch sheath area with alcohol or acetone, and make sure the breather tubes are free of any old belt material. Step 2, install your new Gates Redline belt. Step 3, perform 2 10 to 15 minute heat cycles, giving it easy throttle on flat ground. Then, you're gonna repeat for the second heat cycle.
The best part, the process is so simple and easy, it really helped us with our competitiveness.
Yep.
Upgrading. It's what we do. So upgrading is what we did. Introducing the IQ equipment lineup powered by HMF. Designed for the most adventurous side-by-sides in the world, IQ equipment has the strength to tackle the off-road head-on. Bolt-on American manufactured steel, engineered to increase strength, durability, and protection so you're equipped to handle the most extreme performance. When you're ripping through the desert at full throttle, or tearing through some of the most brutal terrain in the world, you're going to need equipment that keeps you moving at a high level. Because when you have the performance and you have the protection, you then have the confidence to actively pursue your passions just as freedom was intended to be. HMF, equipped to perform.
Oh, they're not right.
All right, we're back to the EMC here. We got the 4500 class, 4600, 4800 out there. I have a guest. Most of you know him. This is the Terry Madden up in the booth with us.
How you been, man?
What's up, buddy?
It's good.
So
I've been better.
So you did some racing this morning.
Yeah, the course was amazing. It didn't turn out the way we really wanted, but had a hell of a lot of fun.
Yeah, it looked like, and what's crazy is every single person we've interviewed has been like, it was a lot of fun.
Oh, it was a blast. This is the kind of racing we used to do, and this was just fun. It was fun. It was cold, but it was fun. But it had all the elements, so you get all the adrenaline. I mean, you're cold, you're wet, you can't see your visor. Man, the start was nuts.
It was.
And then we hit the start, you hit that water, you went up around the tree, and my visor's blacked. I asked for a rag, and I go to wipe my visor, and it pulls the rag out of my hand, and it was froze to my visor.
Wow.
So I got a rag frozen on my visor I'm trying to pull off.
That is awesome.
It was brutal cold when we started. But
yeah, I'll say we were sitting at the booth this morning, looked down, it was 18 degrees, and I'm like, well, that's good times.
Yeah.
But the sun was out, so it made it better.
It was. It warmed up a little bit, but
it was pretty neat though, course-wise, because every lap changed. Lap 1, it was froze. It was predictable. Lap 2, you come around and the sunspots were thawed about an inch.
Yeah.
So it was just slime.
Yeah.
And then one corner you hit this lap, you couldn't hit the next lap or you're in the bales.
Ugh.
And you're guessing every corner. It was kind of a driver's deal, which made it really cool.
And we kind of talked a little about that. I said, well, and my thought was, it's so frozen this morning. The first little while, it's going to be frozen, hard packs. They can really get out there, really put some power to it. As the day warms up, it's going to get really slimy and be sliding all over, and it's going to cause issues. And it sounds like it tacked up a little bit, quite a bit out there.
Yeah, the downhills got mildly terrifying in the bottom one because they got slimy. And then it was starting to dry on the short course on our last laps.
Okay.
And starting to actually get some speed back on the short course.
Yeah. It sounds like some of the faster guys, the fast laps were around 16 and some change for time-wise. We had somebody a couple guys in the 15 minutes. 15-minute range. They said we're about 17-ish for the big cars for the EMC.
Yes, Trevor came through at a 17:24. His brother Connor came through at a 17:29, and then third place Dwayne Garrettson. He is at a 18:27. So almost a whole minute behind for third place.
It was similar times to the side-by-side guys. I know that obviously a little car you can kind of throw around a little bit easier than some of the bigger cars.
There's a couple pretty tight spots in the trees that the side-by-sides obviously have an advantage.
Yeah. What was the best thing about racing the side-by-side versus maybe a big car, or side-by-sides on this course versus another course that you guys raced?
It's just hard to beat the side-by-sides these days.
Yeah.
I mean, we're legitimately getting close to the same top speeds. You get the same adrenaline, and for me, it's the cost effectiveness.
Yeah.
I can have as much fun in it as I used to in a big car. Big car is amazing, but unless you're stepping into a trophy truck, there's just I don't feel that much difference between them myself.
Yeah, and again, like I said, we're seeing some of the most competitive parts, some of the beefiest parts for side-by-sides to make them where they're durable, so you can have a lot of fun, get out there and really go hard, press it hard, and be durable and last through the whole race.
I mean, bang for the buck, side-by-side's hard to beat. There is the adrenaline, the horsepower, the feel in the big car. It's amazing. You can't beat it. But
and again, just squeaking in under time this year at King of Hammers, turning around and reversing the order and finishing first place in the grudge match. That's not a bad day.
That was the only thing we did decent at Hammers this year.
So speaking of that,
it was a rough year.
Yeah. The car that you're driving.
Yes.
That is.
Yes.
The car.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
she said, I think that's his car. And I was like, well, maybe it's just a different wrap or.
No, definitely a different wrap.
Yeah.
So CT built that car with Kyle Cheney. As part of the deal was for Deegan and I to race at Hammers. I just went to Can-Am at the start of the year and didn't have time to put together a car, and that was the deal, was to run with Deegan, and then I got the car after Hammers to run the rest of the season.
Okay, so I was pretty sure that it was the same car. I was not 100% positive, and he was not sure. So
yeah. It's cool. It's cool to see. Like I said, I know that getting out there, Can-Am's kind of stepped up big in a couple different ways with, helping some of the Can-Am teams, and it's super awesome to see him. Like you said, Paul Wolf, me and Paul are the two Illinois guys that brave. So it's always cool to see Illinois guys out. And like I said, he races Can-Am and broke a front diff this morning, which stinks. But
yeah, Paul and I had a long talk at the Wash Bay a little bit ago, trying to figure out the season. I think we're going to both try and run the whole season and work together a little bit to get to stuff and
he's
be able to play against each other.
Definitely a wheel man. Like I said, I know you're definitely a throttle down racer. And I tell people all the time, like, there's a difference between a racer that can go out and race hard and a racer that can race smart. A few years ago now at King of Hammer or at Badlands Off-Road Park in Attica, you and I don't remember who you were co-driving with, and there's a bunch of people blazing by you, and you said, you know what, let them go. We can run them down. If we really want to push hard, we can run them down now, or we can wait till the second lap when we can drive past them as they're broke down. So being able to push hard versus being smart, how does that come into play?
It's endurance racing, and you have to tell yourself that, and it's hard. Today we talked about that on the first few laps. We set the game plan as a team this morning that we were running 5 laps our pace, cruising, and then we were going to turn it up. And each lap we were making progress because people were pulling off. You don't have to be up in that cluster, which was kind of obvious this morning that a lot of these guys are used to short course and less endurance.
Yes. Right.
And watching them beat on each other, I was like, guys, we got 10 laps. Come on. And we were just cruising right behind the pile.
Yeah.
And
just don't get caught up in the pile.
Yeah, we were just avoiding the pile, and they were working themselves out of it.
Yeah,
so.
And that's kind of interesting to see. Again, like I said, short course versus endurance, and again, being able to get out there and race smart, I think, is so much more valuable than just racing hard and I'm going to hammer down and see what I can knock out. And
it's changed though, because Hammers used to be that way. I mean, if you finished, you were top 10.
Yeah.
To finish, but now it's a given. There's 10 guys that can sprint and win.
Yeah.
And the equipment's changed, the people have changed, the discipline's changed, and this is turning into more of a sprint every day. 10 years ago, there was only a few real names in it, and now it's kind of like any given Sunday.
Oh yeah,
There's so many competitive people.
Yeah, and even in the classes, each class has different competitive people in it. And like I said, the side-by-side class I think has definitely exploded. Just because I think you nailed it right on the head, cost effectiveness.
It is.
I mean, that class is probably, I think, the biggest class at Ultra 4 or at King of Hammers, just because of the sheer amount of guys that can afford to race it. You know. So I kind of like that, because I like kind of seeing the newer guys are like, hey, we're going to buy this car, we're going to do this to it, and we're going to go out and race it, and if we do good, great, and if we break soon, that's kind of neat to see some of those guys get out and go, hey, we're going to try this, because usually that's how it always starts. We're going to try this 1 year and just see how it goes.
Right.
Next thing you know, you're pulling with a semi, and you got everything, all the spare parts. And
one good thing too about the UTVs is the parts are so readily available to you. Like when you're in the bigger cars, that was Cody St. Clair that just came through. But when you're in the bigger cars, they're not as easy to get, I don't think. Like there's so many UTV outlets.
It allows somebody to get into it that's not a fabricator.
Right.
Not everybody is Shannon that can walk in his shop and build something overnight, and he puts it together. He used to amaze me when we were in the shop, and he just it magically, you go to lunch and you come back and there's something sitting there that he built in his sleep. But not everybody can do that.
Yeah.
But everybody can go grab a side-by-side and order parts, and there's enough aftermarket parts, bolt-on stuff over the counter that is good enough that you don't have to be a fabricator to run that class.
Yeah.
So it allows people to enter that don't have the shop or the talents or live in an apartment or
Right.
Yeah, and that's one thing that I think is, like I said, I think you nailed it right on the head. Is you see a lot of guys who they can buy a side by side and call up and say, hey, I need some link bars, or I need some trailing arms, or I need some A arms, and I need a front diff, or I want to RCV. I get some heavy duty axles so I don't break axles. Or I know their portals are now becoming. You've seen a lot more common, and they're getting those where they're super durable, bigger tire sizes and tire compounds and stuff. So I think it is kind of cool to see like how much bolt-on stuff you can do to a side-by-side and still make it pretty competitive.
You can buy, like my kid racing RS1, we literally ordered his cage and it was delivered.
Yeah.
You didn't have to have the car there to
and you can
build it on it.
bolt it right in.
Exactly.
Like that's I think you're going to see more and more of that, like I said, as the sport evolves. Like I said, again, today, you can see how many side-by-sides we had in the class today, which was super awesome to see.
It's our largest class out here, and that's what's starting to happen.
It is.
They're the largest classes.
And, like, again, it's so awesome because everybody comes up and is like, that was fun today. No matter where they finished, that was fun,
Yes.
It was fun. And there are some production chassis getting closer to that.
There's the barn.
Miller's working on that with his, Eric Miller.
Yep.
You can order parts. I know that Shannon was working on one at point. There's some production chassis for the bigger cars, but nothing compared to the level of.
Yeah. And again, the side by side is just again, like I said, I think it's
all around bang for the buck.
So the barn that they just showed on there for the people at home, that's the barn you guys raced through this morning, correct?
Yeah, so the barn itself was mildly terrifying because it was the only dry spot on the course.
Okay.
So the car in front of you turned it into a total dust cloud, and you went in it blind, and there's a creek at the end of it, but you didn't know when to turn out of it. You turned too soon in the dust, you hit a post, you turned too late, you're in the creek. It almost needs watered before the big race. It was little nuts.
A little sketchy.
I think you might know the race director.
Yeah. He said, I know a guy.
I know someone.
Again, that was Mick Henderson that just came through in the 4681 car in this Toyota, launching through our little jump here.
So that was his second time through.
I believe so.
Yes.
We got about a half of our guys, I think, have made through the second lap. I mean, through the first lap, and a few of them are on our second. Well, so we had a leaderboard up there a little bit ago.
So I haven't looked at this close at all. I was just focusing on my own stuff. On the stock class here, are they racing the same amount of laps, or what are they running?
Everybody's
I believe they're all running
the same. So they're running 10 laps?
Yes.
That's going to be a long day.
Well, and again, it's a Grand Prix style checkered flag.
Right.
So if you're on your second lap and they drop the flag for, like, say, a 4800 car or a 4500 car, when you cross the finish line after the first guy to get 10 laps, every car after that is pulling right off at the finish line.
Everybody's running the same exact.
So you won't. So technically, even if you're on your second lap at the 2 hour mark,
I gotcha.
If we drop the flag, then you're done. So
yeah, we ran into lap traffic on lap 3, and I was shocked how spread out people got because it was hairy down the trees.
Yeah. I could imagine, again, like I said, by lap 3, man, you guys had to have been flying.
Today felt good. It was a bummer, but it is what it is.
I'm sorry, what happened again?
So the car is the car we raced Hammers in.
Right.
It went home with Kyle, and then last minute decided to bring it here. So I never took it home and didn't prep it. It came from Hammers to here, got a new wrap, and we raced it.
Gotcha.
So some of the parts on it were the parts we ran at Hammers, and we lost drive shaft.
Gotcha. Okay.
It
happens, especially after Hammers.
My part on poor prep, and it's a bummer because I don't do that, but it was here and I was in California.
Yeah, it's a little hard to prep a car when it's on the other half of the U.S.
Yeah,
but you got it here 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, Kyle brought it here, dropped it off. I brought a trailer to get it, and then I'll take it home and prep it before Moab.
Okay.
So.
And again, here 2 weeks ago, we were supposed to have the race. Ice came in. Ice kind of washed everything. I was scrolling through Instagram, and I saw you were here down at Disney doing a little play-in, checking some stuff out. It looked pretty slick down there.
I can't express how excited I am about Legends of Fall. If you haven't been to Disney or haven't been to Big Metron, you need to check it out. So, I grew up in Kansas. Years ago, my first experiences at Rocks It All were here at Disney at Big Metron with Brian Shirley.
Okay.
Brian brought me down, and we went and played here. And the fact that we're going to get to race there, I can't even imagine. We went and drove around it. It brought back so many memories. And to be able to do it at speed now with the evolution of equipment, that's going to be a race not to miss.
Yeah, and I'm sure that'll be a lot of fun. Like I said, they have a bunch of stuff going on that weekend. I'm sure that will be an absolute blast. And again, like I said, I went 10, 12 years ago, took a Toyota truck and a Jeep down there and just had some fun playing the rocks and going up, Viagra, but getting it like at noon and watching maybe hammer on their stuff at Viagra. And some guys had really good rigs and knew what they were doing. Some guys didn't. Were just there to have a good time. So it's always a lot of fun. So excited for that. But I think Visions is going to be a pretty good time, as well as like the finals. I'm excited for that, because to see big cars hit that stuff
I can't wait.
Super fast speeds. And I think, obviously, with the evolution of the suspensions being as good as they are, I think some guys are going to blaze through that.
It's going to be crazy.
Yeah.
It's going to be really neat. I can't wait. These events. And after being here, just the facilities here,
yes.
Wow. I mean,
Amazing.
hats off
They're
to Mid-America.
amazing.
I've raced it all over the world, literally, and the facilities here and the way they're taking care of us, I won't miss an event here. I really wish I wouldn't book next weekend. I'd stay all week and race short course next weekend.
Yeah, and again,
I can't.
Well, and that's kind of what I tell people. If we came here 3 or 4 years ago for the Southern Rock Racing Series, I told people, I kept hearing how nice it was. We'd show up and it's like nice, big, wide concrete entrances and heated and air-conditioned bathhouses. I mean, they have laundromat around the corner. They have pools. They have,
Yeah.
I mean, I'm like, and then I go to other parks and it's like hard to get in the entrance even, and they have small area. Like, it's just kind of a nightmare,
The food is good.
It
The
is.
restaurant's good. Everything you need's in the pro shop. It's professionally set up.
And if there's something that you think that Jason could do better, tell him, and he will probably
We'll
make
do
it happen. They have the wash bays here that are free to use. You walk over, just turn the knob, power wash your rig
Oh, yeah.
off.
I went over, pulled in. It's heated wash bay, washed my car, put it back in the trailer. I'm not hauling home a bunch of mud.
Yeah.
It's
so
great.
It really are putting a lot of thought into and taking consideration to our racers and saying, hey, what can we do better, and really adapting that here. And that's one thing that I think is really good. That they're moving forward at lightning pace with the park itself. Not to mention the amenities they have.
Yeah, I love the park. I'm excited, and we can talk about some of the change. I know there's been a lot of stuff online. I've been reading it all with the change to Ultra 4 and to everything. And after I was apprehensive on it. I mean, nobody likes change and scared of the change to Ultra 4. We've all loved this. We've all grown up in it.
Yep.
But to see this change and see what they're doing here, if they can bring that to our sport as a whole, I'm excited to see what they do. I know it's not going to be easy, but you got to realize the size of the scope of this. They're done overnight. I was giving Jason hell the other night. He was talking about some trailers and stuff that he wanted to have done for production. And I was like, what? How do you not have them done? It's been 10 days. I mean, but he literally, what they have done in a week's time, it's crazy.
It is crazy.
I'm impressed. I'm impressed.
It is. And again, and I think he has that kind of forward-thinking mentality, not just like, hey, what's going to happen this year, next year. He's looking at years down the road and how can we evolve the sport. And that's something that excites, And you get around him, you start hearing some of the good ideas. Like, oh, man, that's great. I think you kind of see that he has a heart for that and a passion for that.
It's going to truly take our sport to the next level, in my opinion.
Yeah.
I mean, we've all raced this. We've all loved it. It's hard to get sponsors. It's very hard.
Yeah.
But with eyeballs come sponsors. You can't get eyeballs at a lot of the places we go and a lot of the things we could do. And if he's going to put us in front of the cameras and put us in front of the eyeballs, those eyeballs will equate to the sponsors, which equates to the money to allow us to travel for this bigger series.
And do more with the series.
And do more with it. So he's taking us with him on a growth, in my opinion.
Yeah,
I'm really excited about it.
And I think all the racers we've talked to are in that same boat. They're excited. Most of the people that are there are doing that too.
So that was Connor Fultz that just came through. His brother, Trevor's been leading all day. So now I'm wondering where Trevor went because they've been running so close.
And Connor,
you got to love the brothers.
One who had the motor sound funny.
It did not. It just came through a minute ago, and it still didn't. It still didn't sound right.
No, that was him. But where's brother? Where's Trevor?
I'm not sure. We'll have to see if our drone can pick up where the footage.
You got to
is at.
love the sibling rivalries.
Oh, dude.
Yep, exactly.
I got a brother.
Sorry, I had to interrupt.
Yeah, I got a brother. We race rock bouncers together occasionally, and we. Like, if I beat no one else that day, I got to beat one guy,
Yeah, we got a lot of I don't race with a brother, but I got a lot of friends that are that close, and there's a lot of side – it's those dollar bets that are more important than anything else.
Again, at Gomez Brothers, we talked about them.
Oh,
I said they're like some of the biggest rednecks I know. Just getting out there and battling. I said, and talking about I wish I could have heard the traffic on race day.
Yeah,
I'm sure it was super
I
ornery.
only heard it just from their pit truck, and it was on speaker. It was like the loudest speaker in the whole entire pit. But it's comical.
I could only imagine.
So I've raced trophy truck with Raul and co-drove for him a couple of races, and they're amazing. But the trash between them, they will literally take each other out or take themselves out taking each other out just to beat each other. It's amazing.
I could only imagine.
Yeah, they're good people. Good people.
The competitiveness
it's next level.
It's for real.
Yeah, it's the next level. Again, they were it's so funny. I remember last year at King of Hammers, they were in there they were trying to get each other and finishing right behind. Oh man, he was so mad. He's like, I wanted to get you. It was just awesome to see.
I'm so happy to see him win it this year.
It was neat.
He's worked very hard at it. He came out for a lot of time before the race this year, which is hard for him to get away. They run one hell of a company besides the playing.
Yeah.
It's secondary. They stepped out of Baja this year after they planned and prepped and everything and stayed home for work stuff. I mean, they work first, play second.
Yeah.
They do play hard, but they're committed to it and they work really hard, so that they deserve to do what they do. But he took the time and came out this year before Hammers and played and practiced, and it was nice having him out there, and it shows.
Oh yeah. Yeah, and again, like I said, some of the technology they're putting into with pre-running and trying to figure that out, and looking at the time invested of how much time they really spent looking at. Okay, hey, if we cut here, that might save us. They really spent a lot of time of prep. I mean, not just pre-running, but just prepping the cars and looking at stuff. I know some of them were playing around with different types of components. They had the aluminum A-arms and the upper A-arms. Just trying to make it that much lighter to make it that much faster. It was super neat.
Their race shop.
They're still waiting for it, so Trevor has not came through yet.
He must have mechanical.
Something.
Their race shop's impressive.
I'm sure.
I was up there north a while back and stopped through the shop and walked in, and it's something you could only dream of. They have full staff there. They're putting full commitment into it, and they are working really hard at it. It's really impressive.
I'm sure. Just keeping all their cars together would be like a full-time job.
Well, they have a full-time race prep program.
You'd have to.
It's a professional racing program.
Right, exactly.
It is. That's something we should show. They used to do that with Ultra 4. What happened to when they'd go to the garages and show stuff and look at it? And why don't we? Is there a possibility, Jason, to bring some of that back?
We were just actually having that discussion this morning.
We would love to walk around their shop. I'm sure it's insane.
And I'm sure they'd let you in. It'd be neat to go see some of the behind the scenes and see some of that and bring some value to the TV side of things.
Especially because they have literally 3 race teams all under the same roof, essentially. Four.
Now I believe one
of
the other kids are getting ready to race in a UTV, I think.
Four full-size UTVs, 4 4400s, a couple of trophy trucks, and then some little UTVs.
Right. So
you're looking at
20 race programs, I meant it's like the big car. You're like 4 big cars. That's basically 4 separate race programs, essentially.
And then they've got 2 or 3 full-size pre-runners, too.
Yeah, I seen them. They wrecked one this year, and they were dragging it back, and I was like,
that was Marcos, wasn't it? I think.
Yeah, it was Marcos and King's Vito.
Yes.
Yeah, I was like, wow, and he's like, well, and I was
then
like,
they called it the Gomez towing service or whatever.
Sounds about right.
I remember seeing them dragging it back, and later on I found out they were like, yeah, we brought an extra car to pre-run with. Good thing we did. I'm like, yeah I guess,
Yeah.
But
no, it's there. You can tell, and like you were saying, Raul being out there, pre-running, doing his homework. Doing your homework really pays off. I did watch Deegan's his YouTube about how he kept going out there, and
he came out a lot.
You have to do that homework to really, if you want to succeed and do well, you need to know. It's like you can't just go out there and just show up and not run the course.
I had a whole lot of fun racing with Brian. He was a professional student, and he's super talented. His skill set was amazing, but he didn't know hammers. Mm-hmm. But he was not in any way, shape, or form arrogant about it. Yeah. He came out and he's like, I don't know this, I don't know this, I do know this, help me. And I enjoyed it a lot. I don't enjoy co-driving for the race aspect, but I love the training and watching people progress and watching people learn and actually helping. And we had fun from day one to the end.
And obviously he's a good racer too.
And watching it, I'm not sure if you've watched it, but watching it, and there was an area that he was in that he was like, it was sketchy to him because he wasn't used to it. And then you guys I heard you tell him to go up, around, and come back and do it again. You know, keep doing it. Now go down it in case we go down it. And by the time at the end of that video on his YouTube, it was like, oh, I get it why you're having me do this now. Like, he got comfortable. He wasn't afraid anymore.
You can go out and get frustrated and not do good, but sometimes that's when you learn the most.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Because if you're not doing good, you're learning what the car does and how it does it, and just learn when you're off 6 inches, it matters.
And then, and then going back, okay, so all of that now, and then
so much dirt on us.
You at Remote Pit 1, I have the video on my phone. This dude, they run out of gas.
I know. We were on the live stream talking about it. It was insane.
I'm sitting there videoing.
I was so frustrated.
But they give him a 10 or 11 gallon.
Yeah, like
fuel
seriously,
cell.
I needed a Gatorade bottle. That's it.
Right.
That's all I needed. And they hand me a full-size jug with the metal hose on it, with the red hut on it, with the
ratchet strap.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
we watched them
guys,
strap it on like.
Nobody in the pits had anything.
They didn't.
Nothing?
I don't know if they asked about it, but yeah, no.
They told me they did.
Oh, they did.
And then they're like, well, it's only got a gallon in it. It's fine. So I put it on, and I get a little ways out, and it shifts around. It falls in front of me, and it's got like 4 gallons. And I'm like, you lying mother.
Yeah, it was.
I needed a Gatorade bottle. It was dumb, but they did their best.
Yeah, it was awesome in the pits. Just watch you knelt down, you're drinking some water, and you're like, it's gonna be a long day. And then they're trying to figure out how to ratchet around you,
and they failed.
You didn't hear all the audio then.
No.
Yeah, that audio wasn't fit probably.
Yeah.
Definitely not.
We just had the video and we were talking over it. We did not hear the audio.
Yeah, I was frustrated.
I could imagine.
No, that was
we shouldn't have run out in the first place, but that was.
Well, that's the thing. There were some people, because I was out there, there were some cars that were stopping going out and then coming back in.
Again, Brian and I had never ran that car. I had never ran a Can-Am. I didn't switch to Can-Am until this year. Mm-hmm. It was delivered there, 2 hammers. We pre-ran in a different car. We trusted what we were told on mileage. We didn't know the tune. We didn't know the car.
Yep.
We went out and ran it, and we were 1.5 miles, 2 miles short from making it. And now I know.
That's brutal.
Then good thing he
Yeah.
must exercise or
Yeah,
something.
good thing you had your cardio up that day.
So I learned.
And then ended up coming in 20th place, which puts you at first place for the grudge match, and 20 grand pocket. And that's not a bad day.
No, that was a good day. That was a good day. And
especially because you guys were questioning not questioning, but there was something wrong with the
we
car
weren't
when
going to
it
run
came
it. We had broken axles.
Yes.
And I was like, Brian,
you got to run it.
we're here. We may as well run it. So.
But you guys
It worked
starting where
out.
you did worked out great because it was a dust bowl.
Oh,
so
huge.
That might be my fault.
So and
there was a
Tyler-
little strategy in that. And I feel kind of like a dick about it, but when we went around the hill there, we were in two-wheel drive. We knew we were going to have trouble climbing the hill. There's the preferred route, and then there was the deep, deep ruts. Mm-hmm. And I told him when we were around the hill, I'm like, stay right. And he's like, in the ruts. And I said, stay right. He's like, but it's stay right. And we went in the deep ruts all the way around the hill each lap and drugged the belly.
Okay.
And dusted everybody out, and we had time to take the bypass on the rocks. And then we'd do it again.
Kind of a strategy.
Yeah.
But it was Tyler Rimreed, who's actually racing here, who went off the line with you guys, I believe.
Yeah.
So he's here in RS1.
That was the only way we could pull it off because we did not have four-wheel drive to get up the hill.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, it was interesting. That was awesome just to see you guys up on the podium, though. To be like, yeah, hey, we had a rough day. Had to do a little jogging with the gas tank, but guess what? We're on the podium. So.
That was fun. I think there should be more stuff like that, just to add a little sideshows.
Oh,
I think this is the perfect place for it.
Yeah, the All Class 11, I think, is quickly becoming one of the most popular things there, watching all the bugs race around. And those guys are full send, and there's almost no give to their suspension. So watching them just laying it bounce. And
I kind of want one. I just can't do
too.
anything else that week. There's so much.
Yeah. And again, there's half dozen guys. Those guys just full send that, and there's zero give in that suspension. It's like an 11-inch shock or something.
They're so great though.
It's awesome.
So on screen right now, is that where it's the tight tree area? Because I think that is Cody St. Clair. I'm not positive, but I think that's Cody St. Clair. But is that the area where you're talking about that the UTVs are better because they're not as wide?
There's about 4 tight tree trails.
Okay.
But there's a few spots where there's just some sharp switchbacks where you're literally tight, that it's going to be a little harder in the big cars.
Okay, because you've been on course, so can you explain to everybody
I
watching
honestly
at home?
am having trouble seeing it because I have so much mud in my eyes from this morning that I can't.
Oh, no, Cody St. Clair is
There we
right
go,
here,
yeah.
so that's definitely not him on screen.
Those guys are coming out of Texas. Not too far of a drive for them. We interviewed him this morning.
The course is amazing. And there's so many things. I went and drove around a little bit last night just to take – my dad showed up and took him for a ride, and we went and drove around and side by side. And there's so much more here. We're just touching the edge of it. I can't wait to see other courses here.
And then there's across the street, too. There's stuff across the street, too, which is super neat. I said there might be, again, for a longer race, they might do some stuff across the street, too, and then come back here.
Well,
I like that.
That's what we were talking about earlier, too. It's like, you know, you get repetitive sometimes when you keep going back to the same venue.
Yeah, I don't like running the same course.
But like here, there's so much land and so many options that you can change up the course every single time they come race here, and then it's not repetitive.
And they have some more gnarly stuff too, so you could add a little harder, more technical stuff if you wanted to. Again, for an endurance race, it's not probably the most feasible, but
looks like a nice fast section that he's in right now.
Those were so slimy this morning. That corner right there. If you missed it, you're sliding into a steel post right on the other side of it.
Oh, okay, so we can't see that post. But is that
it's
the
right
barn
about
right there in the background?
There. Yeah, you come back and then switch back and come up to the barn from the other direction. You drop down a creek bottom right there.
It's really cool the drone is actually getting footage of that because that's what Chip McLaughlin kept
talking
saying.
about.
It would be really cool to see that. But you were saying that it almost needs like a watered down inside there. Which
it was the only dry dirt on the entire course. So when you went through it, it just filled with a dust cloud. It was like there was just smoke rolling out the side of it. When we came to it the first lap, I thought somebody wrecked in it, and I was scared to pull into it because I couldn't believe how much dust was coming out of it.
Well, it makes sense that the reason why it's dry, but yeah, that also makes sense to maybe water it down just a little bit.
Again, there's your leaderboard there. I think we got 4 guys on the 3rd lap. We got about 4 guys on the 2nd lap. 2 guys are still on their 1st lap. We have a few guys that did not even complete a 1st lap.
Yeah, so it's Connor Foltz, Trevor Foltz, Dwayne Garrettson, and Cody St. Clair are all on their 3rd lap or have completed their 3rd lap.
I think we got 4 guys on their 2nd lap. So, again, being that once the checkered flag drops, all cars are done, a couple of those guys might have a chance to track up again. Fuel strategy on the big cars, you think we'll see some big cars pit and get fuel, or?
I don't know. They should, the majority of them, I believe, should be able to get close to 100 miles.
Yeah.
Because these guys aren't running the big motors, getting the poor horsepower or mileage.
Yeah.
Chip was saying they're probably going to have to fuel maybe.
Yeah. I say like some of the Toyota, he's running a 4-cylinder. You know, if he's got 30 gallons, he can last forever.
He's going to be fine. But the big cars, you know, you're getting 3-4 miles a gallon sometimes.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, you're 1,200 horsepower. You're not going to get really great mileage.
Yeah. So. Fuel's definitely a strategy. We were trying to pit as late as possible in the game. So if we did have a flat, they could change it in the pits.
Yeah.
And we were basically going to run till we had a flat or until lap 7 till we had to fuel.
And I did see some, like Colin Truitt, he didn't fuel until I think lap 8, roughly, is when he came in and fueled.
I wasn't going to fuel till I had to, so that if we did have trouble, we weren't pitting twice.
Yeah, you're like, I'm not doing that again.
But
All right, so we are actually going to take a commercial break here. We've been sitting here with Mr. Terry Madden, and he's either going to stick around with us or head out. I'm not sure what he's going to do.
I don't know what I'm going to do. I need to find some food.
Yeah, food, and then, but yeah, we're going to head to a commercial break, so stay tuned.
right, we're back here again. We got Terry Madden in the booth with us. We did have a car come in with a flat tire. Did you see it?
But he kept going.
Okay.
I thought that was kind of odd.
Yeah.
Number 46, that is Connor Fultz. Oh,
Okay.
he's leading, but he did. He had a flat.
It's so much more time effective to change your tire in the pits than out on course if you can.
Maybe he didn't realize it's flat, you think? Or
I don't know.
I don't know.
He didn't take the jump. He went around to take the pit road, but then went on through pit road.
Okay.
So I don't know. Maybe these guys weren't ready. Maybe something wasn't right.
Yeah, maybe they weren't ready.
Well, and he was leading, I believe. I believe he's still leading. So.
Again, we'll check our leaderboard here in a little bit. There's only, I think, 4 guys currently on this lap. So, again, maybe he's at the point where he says, hey, I got a little time. We'll just cruise one more lap, and that way it's either going to stay at that or it's going to go all the way flat, and then we can fully change it. So,
yeah, you run a risk there, taking out brake lines and other things and other problems.
Yeah, especially if it shreds.
If you can change a tire in the pit, I'm changing a tire in the pit.
Isn't that his brother? Isn't that Trevor?
I believe so.
Maybe he was in their pit when he pulled in, possibly, and the pit was occupied with the other car. I wasn't watching that close.
I wasn't either because...
That would make some sense if his brother was in his pit and they're pitting together, so he went on by.
Yeah, it looks like they're changing his tire, too.
Yeah, exactly.
And maybe they told him, hey, go on by. His tire's completely fat. Go on by. We'll try to get one more lap in and then change your tires. So.
And you can see they have the fuel out ready to fuel up as well.
Yeah, it looks like they're
not in a super big hurry, though.
Yeah. Again, being only 4 guys are on that current lap, so they might say, hey, we got a little bit of comfortable lead. Let's take our time, make sure we get everything done.
Except he's not leading anymore. So, interesting. We'll see how this all plays out.
Where did Dwayne end up?
Dwayne, he went through while we were on break, I believe. So they're doing some drone footage right now, and then what they're going to do, there's a leaderboard. So, yes, we have Connor Fultz in that number 1 position, and then we have Trevor Fultz, Dwayne Garrettson, Cody St. Clair, and Justin Barth. Those are our top 5 right now. And on the laps, so we have lap time. So we only have Connor on he who has completed his 4th lap.
I have no idea how you can read that.
Yeah, I try to go off the screen here.
It's LASIK.
Yeah. I try to go off my leaderboard here. I can't quite see the big screen in the back.
That's not happening.
I'm not that accurate.
I can see it just because of that. Now, close up, my age is showing in my eyes. But no, that's our top 5 though. So, but we see Trevor is over in the pit right now. So, not sure how this is all still going to play out.
Yeah.
Might be Dwayne's car there coming through. I haven't seen him in a long time. I miss those guys. That's one thing.
Yeah.
I don't get to see the East Coast guys like I used to. I'm excited about coming back and racing this side of the world, and the Indiana crew and the Branicks. And
here's Dwayne.
The Brannick is awesome. Stan is the man.
He is amazing. I had a real interesting trip to China several years ago with Dwayne, and we had a lot of fun. He's something else too.
So Dwayne Garrison just took over the number 2 spot from Trevor because Trevor is obviously over in his pit still. So we only have 7 cars that have completed 3 laps so far.
I think we have 2 that are on their 4th lap.
Yes, correct, which is Connor Fultz and Dwayne Garrettson.
Yeah, I heard stories about China and just how interesting of a time it was over there.
I can't even explain it.
Yeah.
I was actually called 2 years ago by the same guy and invited back, and I bypassed it because of some of the things that happened on the trip I didn't even want to be part of again. It was quite a trip.
I've heard it was pretty insane time.
Yeah, it was neat. It was a cool experience with a really cool group.
Yeah, and I guess that's the thing. Like, I tell people sometimes, like, going to we have 40, 50 bouncers show up, or like King of Hammers, it's super awesome. I tell people that's kind of like going to a concert where you have like tons and tons of people. It's a great time. It's a lot of fun. But some of the small races where it's more of like an intimate group, that's more like being at a house party where you get to see your friends and talk and hang out, and it's kind of cool. So I think like China was more of a smaller group, so you get to hang out and goof off. And
there is
Mick
Hinton
in the Toyota.
In the ditch there a little bit.
He might have slid off the corner of that culvert, so it's pretty slimy right there. What you can't see is in the bottom there's actually a steel culvert. And there's dirt across the center of it, and there's culvert sticking out both ends. And if you don't hit that center, you're off the culvert hung up.
And again, we've seen several side-by-sides go through that tape, slide right through earlier.
Yeah.
We've seen a couple stop and try to back up as well.
I don't know why Dwayne would wait on him, though, not take another line. There's another line there around him. Yeah, go up the other line.
So speaking of the weather, this morning you were talking about how cold your hands were.
Yeah, I made a mistake this morning, got wet right off the bat, and I realized after a little while I couldn't feel my fingers because it was adrenaline, and I couldn't straighten them. The water had froze, and I'm biting them trying to pull my gloves off and couldn't get them off, and they hurt. And then my hands were actually warmer bare for a while than they were with the gloves on while we were trying to dry gloves. And but it all adds to it, though. It's that splash in the face and the wet and the cold.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, no, now he's having trouble.
Yeah, see, if you weren't awake then, splashing in the water when it's 18 degrees outside will definitely wake you up.
4 pretty decent water crossings on the backside.
On the backside?
Yep.
So
They are rock bottom. They're not muddy.
Yeah.
But the splash in the face isn't.
Yeah. Hey, wake up. Yeah, your co-driver definitely didn't sleep here. You know.
Yeah. Yeah, we ran lead nav, which I've always ran. I love lead nav, but the iPad shut off on the first lap for cold. I've had my iPhone shut off before for heat.
Yeah.
But it shut off for cold this morning, froze up.
Wow.
Okay, this hill right here that he's trying to get up, that obviously is a super steep hill.
That's right. The one right over here
us.
behind us.
Yeah.
It's wet and slick, too.
So you can see they're bringing out the forks to get Mick Henson moved.
So he must be blocking course, and Dwayne just can't get around him. Dwayne acts like he's running on a cylinder short, maybe, too.
This is what you guys normally run.
It is, right. So with some of that rock section, usually we'll come up around right around that tree, make a big loop, come back and hit some of this rock section through there. So that's a pretty loose dirt area there. So
I think if he'd take a right, he could head
back up
the there we wall. go. They're going through
and
water.
you're going through water,
so
too.
your tires are wet heading up the hill.
Yeah. Again, trying there. Again, his
motor's not sounding
He did
super
not
happy.
sound very good when he was coming
it's
through.
hard to get any momentum right there either.
Well, they got Mick out, so maybe he can back up and get back into the other spot that's not so steep to go up.
Again, trying to. You could hear it cutting in and out pretty good.
Yeah, he's struggling on motor.
Yes, he is.
And I'm not sure if that's like, a clogged fuel filter or got an injector that's bad.
Could be water.
Yeah, we'll get some water in there, like sensor reading wrong. When you're bouncing through an endurance race for, hours at a time, you can have all kinds of things going. A ground wire goes bad, and magically the sensor starts reading a little off. And
so several of the hills this morning, it froze hard enough last night that it was solid underneath, but they thawed a couple inches on top, so there was zero traction because you just moved the dirt down to ice.
Yeah, yeah,
and it was really tough to get any traction at all.
Yeah, and again, like I said, running through here, you're going through water. Then once you hit dirt, your tires are all slimy, and the more water you splash up on there, the harder it's going to get. So
this hill kind of reminds me of the hill at Crossbar where they were going up during nationals last year, or a couple years now.
Yeah, at this point, I'd backtrack if I was him and go back over to that other crossing.
We just had somebody come through.
I
believe it's Travis Forshee. He's over here in pit again.
I'm not sure what's going on there.
Oh, there we go.
They got the hood off.
He came in after the first lap too. There was something going on there as well. It looks like he might be unbuckling.
Yeah, steering
he's
wheel
taking
just
his
came
helmet
off.
too.
That's a bummer.
That's unfortunate.
Going to be running that top three front of the pack and have an issue. Kind of stings.
And Dwayne Garrettson, there he goes.
So you could hear his buggy cutting out from here.
Is that is?
And what laps?
That is not Dwayne. Is that number?
It's not either. I thought it was the whole time.
Travis Forshee.
Okay. Well, who's in pit right here again?
I can't tell with the mud. That's just rough.
I think that's Trevor.
Oh.
And I was looking for number 3 on there.
I don't know his car.
Number 3, but I can't see the number 3 plate. He has a number 3 orange plate, but I can't tell.
So that was Travis trying to make it up that hill. Okay, so at least he got up and over and.
And what lap's the leader on right now?
Fourth.
They completed their fourth. Yeah, they're on their 4th lap. It's so hard to read these numbers. As you guys can see on screen, it's super muddy out there.
It's in the open meadows where I didn't think it'd get muddy.
Yeah.
It's good. It's froze underneath and just the top's slimy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm sure it's probably super slick.
If we could get a drone shot out to some of the open meadows, it's like just ice skating rink. It's kind of fun.
Again, once the big cars hop on it, I'm sure it'll be even more interesting.
There was no grab on any of the corners. You could just slide.
Yeah. Which is kind of fun.
It was fun.
As long as you're not clipping a tree, it's kind of a good time.
I was wide open.
That looks fun there.
He said, no, it's wide open. Again, there's some of those wood section there. It looks like a pretty long, straight wood section. Again, we've had almost every racer or person we've talked to today like, this is a fun course. This is a lot of fun coming out and racing today. So, it's always a good time. Like I said, this is the 918 endurance race from Mid-America. So it's good to see them get out there.
That's the little section right before coming in here to the finish.
It looked like it was a nice little uphill right there. It's really hard to see this and haven't been out on course. I love going out on course and seeing it before getting on here, and so we can tell everybody about it. So it's nice to have you up here, Terry, that you've raced it and know it. And
yeah, I'm just struggling seeing it. My eyes are so full today. This was a 100% visor up race.
Yeah.
You just couldn't.
Cody Sinclair.
His car is not white anymore.
Yeah, it's got a light brown. Yeah, I'm sure the dust is just, and at some point, if you get issues, you just
it was frozen. You couldn't.
There was
I'm
no
okay
dust.
with mud on the visor because you can wipe it off, but it hit and then froze on the visor. It was like this thick of just icy mud. You couldn't get it off.
That stinks.
It should be better now. It's warmed up a lot since this morning.
Again, Cody Sinclair coming through, and he's our last fourth lapper so far. So we got 4 guys on their 4th lap. So we're almost to halfway through the race.
Yep, so we have in our first position, we have Connor Foltz. Second position, Dwayne Garrettson. Third position, Trevor Foltz. 4th, Cody St. Clair. 5th, Justin Barth. So
Connor Foltz wrapping up at 16-minute lap, 16 minutes a month. So, again,
really?
right comparable with the side-by-side laps this morning.
He picked up the time then because it was like 17:20 something
16:35 is what he just ran.
That's awesome.
So, again, he's trying to hammer down.
The first lap's never going to be your first. Well, I can't say that. Sometimes the first lap is the fastest lap.
But usually you pick up a little bit of speed as you race on.
Right.
I think it's going to dry through the day, and they're going to get a lot more traction, too.
And that's kind of
what was stalling and just slimy for UTVs.
And that's kind of what I said this morning. I said it was going to be really hard-packed and then kind of get slimy as the day went on. I said, but the big cars get out there a couple laps in, they can wear down a track pretty quick and hopefully get it back down to kind of tacky. And
our second lap, the short course was just slime, terrible. And you can see it now. It's starting to dry on the inside of the corners. By lap 4, it was starting to dry out on the short
love that
course.
section there because literally the faster you go, the funner it is.
Oh, that
it's
short
so
course
much
is
fun.
absolutely amazing. I'm going to come back and run a short course race here so bad.
Yeah. So you can see the snow is still there. So, it's a little still chilly here.
It is still chilly, but of the drone, the overall footage of the drone is showing how much it's melted already.
This little rhythm section here is a lot of fun. You can just hop them.
Yep.
It looks like a
We do that section there with the snows out. We go up and down that, and then we kind of go all the way down, come back, hit those big doubles, and then we hit the rough section for our finals last year. So it's a good time, a lot of fun. Some of the courses are brutal. Some can be a little less brutal, so it's not too bad.
And then what he's hitting right now is a little step up that's an absolute blast. And then this section he's going into now, you can't see it all, was my favorite.
Yeah.
Where you drop down through there and you can
kind of weave through the trees.
Yeah, kind of weave, but it's at speed, and you come off a blind hill sideways, and it's fun.
Come off a hill blind sideways. That's good. It's good times. You're definitely feeling the car shift.
No, the short course is really impressive. I love it.
Yeah, and that's again, like I said, that's super awesome. Kudos to Jason for setting up an awesome course for us. Let's come out here. JT being the race director, definitely putting work in. Yeah, it looks like a lot of fun too. Like I said, everybody entered today. So how much fun it was.
And we only have 4 cars that are on the 4th lap.
4 cars currently on the 4th lap. So again, hopefully some of those guys that had issues can get whether it be fuel or tire change, can get fixed and back on it. But
this looks a little gnarly right there.
Yeah, they're calling that the knockout. I guess it's got something to do with you guys' bouncer area.
Yep. We do a race where we race them 2 at a time. We have raced as many as wide as 4 at a time, and that's a little different style racing. So if you get ran over, you get ran over. That's the deal. It's basically wide open. You have usually a big jump, and you come up and have several big ledges, and it is a radical vehicle violent because guys will run over each other and bounce off cars and flip over, and it's usually a pretty good payout for the knockout race, and it's a lot of fun. And the cool part is, when you win, it's like, March Madness. You win, you go to the next round. So you may have to do.
That's why it's called knockout.
Yeah, and you do 12 rounds at a time. Or you might have to, if you have enough drivers.
It's bracket racing.
Yeah, it's just like bracket racing, except you could get ran over and knocked out. It's pretty cool. It's a lot of fun, and it's always very violent to watch, which is kind of cool. And you kind of know that going in, so it's
that section was not fun in the UTV because there there was no good way to hit it at all. You couldn't. You had to slow down, just drag belly over it. If they were a little closer, where there was the possibility of doubling it, it would be cool.
You might be able to launch over them.
Yeah.
But
so our leader Connor Foltz just came through.
Okay.
So he's now out. That should be on his 5th lap now.
Okay.
So halfway through.
Halfway through.
Grand Prix finish. Whenever he finishes, the race is over. Everybody gets the checkers.
And he was at a 17 something. It looks like 17:36, I think. 17:01. So just right over a 17-minute lap.
How many 4400 cars did we end up with?
15, I think. 15. I qualify. This is our qualifying list. I think we had 15 total.
Okay. I was kind of curious between the weather, not being a points race, how many would actually come, especially since we're racing Moab in a couple weeks. But it's good to see some turnout because it's such a fun course.
And again, I know the Texas guys all kind of showed up because it's a little bit closer for them.
And they were already planning to come here for the race that was canceled a couple weeks ago due to weather.
Quentin's out here, Flying Q Motorsports. He's not too far away from here.
It's just a bummer that it turned out with the cancellation with the weather so close to Moab. It just makes it hard on prep.
Levi coming out. He's a little farther away from here, but
Levi's about 6 hours. Levi and I actually grew up right beside each other there in Kansas.
Yeah,
so
that's
that's about how far it is to my dad's.
Okay.
That's what's good, though, about this not being a points race, because if there are teams that are not going for, West Coast points, why not come race here?
Yeah.
Because now you have plenty of time to prep your car for the East Coast race, and it's just seat time.
Yeah.
Come check out the race, the Mid-America if you haven't been here.
Yeah.
So.
Oh, it's well worth it. I won't miss one here.
Again, wait till the summertime when there's the pool and there's concerts. I promise you, it's insane.
Yeah, the Demo Derby. They were talking about pit bike races. I'm going to have to put another pit bike together. It's been years. But I went up and looked at the pit bike course, and wow.
It is.
It's legit.
It's pretty incredible. They also have, I heard, an indoor track they're building for pit bikes. And
so, from what I understand, it's right where that track is. He's putting a building over the top of it.
Okay.
So it's a 350 by 350 building.
I'm like, what?
Yeah.
He's like, yeah, well, how we indoors. We can do rodeos and other stuff in there, too. I'm like, that's crazy.
Yeah, I'm going to have an indoor pit bike arena.
Yeah, I'm like, hey, why not? But their pit bike course here is insane.
It's pretty impressive.
And how many people come to it is just crazy to me.
Well, there's better payout for the pit bikes than we used to get racing.
I know. I'm like, holy cow. Yeah, and then you see a bunch of little kids on it, which is kind of cute, too.
It's amazing. And that's something else. They're bringing back the 170s and doing the kids stuff. And I saw several comments the other day, people kind of whining about no feeder program, but that is a feeder program. You bring the 170s, you come into the UTVs, there's multiple classes. That's how this grows.
Yeah, and it's super cute. Like I said, we started doing some 170 classes this year. Our first one, we had two little girls show up. The second race, it was in Texas, so a little farther away. The second race was at Windrock. We had like 8 or 9 kids show up. So we had 2 kids that were kind of more of a pro class. We went and made a class for them, and there was like 7 or 8 stock, and I think 6 of them were girls. And to watch them all standing there, they had their own little drivers meeting, so watch them all stand there in line, just looking.
Yeah, it's amazing.
It was the cutest thing ever to see them all just stand there listening, and they're looking at mom and dad, and sometimes they'd ask questions, he'd look back, and they'd be like, yeah, so, and then all the dads of them got at each corner, because it was just kind of like a big figure 8, so they took all the dads and kind of scattered them out, and all the dads stood there for all of the racers, just kind of help them all go around the corners, and we had them as young as 6 years old, and it was super cute just to watch them all try to go around the thing. And dad's, no, the other way, it made you, you kind of felt a little bit, like, wow, this is so neat to see. This is like kind of the heart of the sport,
That's what it's about. And when you can involve the family, and that's what the sport is family.
Right.
That's my. I've said it for years. If anything ever actually happened, and it did to me, to where you needed people.
Yeah.
More of my friends from this sport showed up than my actual family.
Yeah.
And this is my family.
Yeah.
It is really impressive how tight this group is.
Yeah, it's cool. And like I said, again, I know that, we see it in our series. A lot of guys drive long distances, and I would compare it to like Ultra or like, King Hammers. We all drive long distance, a lot of races. We haul our stuff there. So if I need a $2 bolt, okay, here's a bolt. I don't care. The trailer's unlocked. Go get whatever you need. I don't care. Because I would hate to see a guy travel that far and not be able to race because of some little tiny thing.
Or a $2,000 part. Seriously. We've handed out stuff, and you go get stuff, and you send it to them the next week, and it's family. You want to beat them on course, not off.
Yeah, and like I said, some of our guys at Race are kind of the same way. I would hate to beat you because of a technicality, because technically I didn't really beat you. You just lost,
Exactly.
I want to straight up beat you and show everybody that I straight up beat you when both of our cars ran amazing. Yep. So, it is kind of neat to see that kind of camaraderie, in the off-road sport and in the community. So, I like to see that, and I've seen that. Obviously my series as well as Ultra 4. See that kind of camaraderie. Guys really stick together. Again, like even in teams. Like we've seen like Zandy and all those guys. They have a huge race team where they all help each other work on cars. I've seen at pits before. A dude just pulls into some random pit, and he's like, I need gas and a tire. And they're like, okay, well, we got this. Will work? Yeah. They just,
yeah, exactly.
I've taken parts off. I took an axle out of Marcos Gomez's car last year at Sledgehammer in the middle of the race to put in my car because he was broke, and then we took more parts off of his car to put on JP's car while we were sitting there. And we just parted out a car on the side of the mountain to help us all finish.
That was the UTVs, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember. Was there like a little, hey, this person's going to get this part and this person's going to get that part?
Yeah, we had a powwow. Yeah. It was like a little bidding war. We had a little rock, paper, scissors. It's like, all right, who's going to finish? Who are we going to help here?
Yeah.
It's super cool. I remember seeing the picture last year, King of Hammers. You're over there helping dudes at winch. Like, hey, well, I'm not going anywhere. Might as well, it's super cool to see that,
It's a team effort, and you want to see people succeed.
Yeah.
I mean, if I can't win.
Yeah, at least help somebody else win, It's super neat. I don't even remember who pulled up. It was like his back door, pulled up and just threw the cable, and you hooked it around a rock. You're like, all right, come on in. It's good,
Is that your Thor picture?
It is.
Not even going there.
It is. It's just, and it's super neat to see that, I've seen Shannon do the same thing, be broke down and be like, all right, well, what can I help you with?
I've seen Waylon do it, yeah.
Well,
like I was talking about earlier, I don't know if it was when you were in here, but Levi Shirley this year when he blew his transmission, I mean, what did he do? He got out, and every single car that came into the pit, if they were working on it, he was right over there with them working on it.
Which is super awesome to see.
I've raced literally all over the world with Levi. We've had a lot of fun.
You were telling us a little story about one of them, cold races.
Oh, yeah. The coldest race I think I ever raced was in Wales with Levi. It was King of Wales several years ago. So the Europeans like their tea, apparently.
That's crazy.
They do an hour mandatory pit stop in the middle of the race. So we're there, it's pouring, we're racing, you're cold, you're wet, but you're doing okay, you got adrenaline.
Yeah.
We come into the pits, and they make you stop for 1 hour. And we sit there and take our hour pit break and freeze. And then you're frozen, wet, and get back in the car to start your second half of the race.
No way.
It was miserable.
I would hate to start that second half. You're cold. Now the wind's blowing past you. You're freezing.
Yeah. You lost all your adrenaline. You sit there and got cold for an hour. Levi and I are huddled in this. It was Rob Butler's little van, shaking, freezing, wet.
Drinking your tea.
And then you got to go get back in the.
Yeah.
So Dwayne Garrettson just came through. He is our second position, but it looks like he is 7 minutes, 13 seconds behind.
Wow.
We haven't seen him for a while. I wonder if he stopped and changed a tire or did something on the backside.
But, yeah, I mean, second place is 7 minutes, 13 seconds behind the leader, Connor Foltz.
Which is a pretty big –
it's a lot on this course, but, 7 minutes is one tire change, one flat, anything.
And that's if you're hustling out there,
if
the
he
course.
Just hangs in it. Jared, my co-driver, tried to get out at one point today, and he couldn't get out because his buckles were frozen. Everything was frozen. He was having trouble getting unbuckled and having trouble getting out of the car because the mud was froze over the buckles. So
you're like, we'll stick in. We'll figure it out. It's crazy. People don't think about how that's crazy that the rag froze to your helmet.
It was brutal the first couple laps.
I'm just glad it warmed up. It's warm.
It's nice right now sitting here in the sun.
Yeah.
I know. I'm probably getting a sunburn.
Yeah, so being in the sun helps warm a little bit. Again, we got two guys that have come through in that fifth lap.
He's going up the little knockout here. If they keep the drone there right after this knockout when he goes left, you'll see that's a Jeep arena there they use during Visions and do an obstacle course that if you get a chance to go up and drive around and look at, it's really cool.
Yeah. That's awesome.
There, now we can see it.
Yeah, they're not going to see it. But really, really neat spot. There's so many cool things
and
here.
That's what I was getting ready to say.
Every time I come here, they've
it.
added something different. The first time I ever came here, they had a pool, above ground pool, with just kind of a deck around it. We were all in there playing volleyball. It was our finals. The first year we had finals here, and we're having a great time. And I would have told Jason, I said, man, this is super neat. I said, this is so cool. This is one of the coolest off-road programs we're into. And he's like, yeah, that pool, there's too many people in it. We're gonna knock it down and build a new one. I'm like, what? Sure enough, by the next time we were here, he had knocked it down, and he's like, yeah, we're having this thing called Visions later this year. He's like, we're going to build this cool in-ground pool. I'm like, all right, whatever. And then, boom, I see the plans for it. It's like a lazy river, kids pool, adult pool. I'm like, holy cow. It's just, so every time you come here, there's something new and different exciting about it.
Apparently there's full drag strip going in up on the hill, too.
That's what he was kind of hinting at. He's like, well, we do dirt drags, but he's like, it'd be kind of cool to have asphalt or sand. He goes, or both, whatever. Whatever. I'm like, wow.
Yeah. This is rapidly growing into be one of the coolest off-road park I can ever imagine.
It is neat. And again, like I said, I think he has a very forward-thinking mind of like, how can I make the park better? You know, even with the concert stuff. You know,
that's what he has said is, you know, it's an event with a race added in. I
Yeah.
said that earlier, and that's what he said. So that's awesome because now you have all these events here, and you're just throwing, you know, these races in with it, and so it's just entertainment all around, not just races. You got your concerts.
Yeah.
And
It adds eyeballs, and
Yes.
that is the hardest thing with the sport we do is getting eyeballs, because if nobody sees your car, you can't get sponsorship.
Right.
And getting eyeballs on them is what these events are going to do.
So there went Travis, I believe.
Yep.
Car sounds good.
It
yeah.
does.
That's
Again,
Travis Forshee.
trying to see what lap he's on.
Peanut. He's in third place, so that means he is on his fourth lap actually. So he's a lap down. So there's only 2 people on lap 5.
I think he's 2 laps down.
2 laps down?
Again, he's running the 4,800 Legends class.
So Connor Foltz, Dwayne Garrettson are both on their 5th lap, and then Travis just came through on 4th.
They said in the driver's meeting we do have a rule change for Legends now with the combination.
Yeah.
They are going to allow rear engine.
Okay.
That's
okay.
what I keep, you know,
Yeah,
keep hearing a
That's
push
kind-
for that.
That's
No,
kinda
it is.
cool.
It is. JT said it in the driver's meeting that rear engine is allowed for 4,800 now.
Okay.
Which I believe is a good thing. The Legends class, I ran it several years ago, and it was designed to be for our retired
Yes.
4,400 cars. I mean, the cars that Brian Shirley, Levi, and I had triplet cars that were Sniper Fab cars back in 2011. And Levi's still running his in Legends, and at the time they were super competitive, and now they're just not with
Yes.
the changes in technology and the stuff. But that's what that class is supposed to be. And there's rear engine cars now in 4,400 that aren't super competitive anymore.
No.
And if they're allowed to step down and still run what you have, it makes sense.
And for our viewers, what's the difference between a 4,400 car and a 4,000 car? One shock off,
single shock per corner.
30. You want to do a 37?
37-inch.
Okay.
I believe it's 37 DOT. I don't know. I haven't raced it in a few years. And it used to have to be front engine.
Okay. And the 4,000, again, like I said, it's mainly for, they call it a Legends class. It's a retired 4,400 car. So, in theory, any 4,400 car could technically race that, just take one shock off and drop down to a 37.
Yeah. People are building full Legends cars now from scratch, which it is a slightly more affordable class.
Yeah.
You're not getting into the high horsepower motor, or not, well, some of them are, but that is the goal, is to have some more entry level racing. That
And again,
you're have to.
Just a little bit cheaper entry fee, I think. There's some other. Again, like I said, you're not necessarily competing against all the big dogs. You know, that 4,400 class is super competitive, and there's some guys that got pretty good money in cars, huge horsepowers, and guys are making literally tweaking. I mean, there's guys I haven't seen it yet, but I have no doubt that we'll see guys taking them into like wind tunnels and making them more aerodynamic in the future. Like, it's crazy to see how competitive that 4,400 class has become.
It's the pros.
Yeah, it clearly.
That's it. I mean, for this sport, for what we're doing, and not only that, the evolution that has come out of that class for the rest of motorsports.
Oh,
I mean, years ago, first time Shannon and I raced Baja in the Class 1, his four-wheel drive Class 1 he had, it was a big deal. Everybody's like, oh, you got four-wheel drive, it won't finish, it won't last. We did really good a couple years in a row overall, and now there's, the Mason four-wheel drive truck's the one to have. Mason's created amazing technology on their own, but a lot of that technology of the proving that you could do endurance racing with a four-wheel drive came from Ultra 4, came from 4,400.
And we still, in the rock bounce community, we steal stuff from Ultra 4 all the time. I mean, it was kind of cool to see. I mean, Stan Brandon came out with the aluminum trailing arms. He made one for Timmy. Timmy kind of made sure, kind of proved that they're bulletproof, indestructible. You can beat on them. And now this year at Cameras, I was walking around, when everybody's lining up for tech, and I'm seeing a third of the cars had aluminum trailing arms on them.
There's not many cars out there that don't have some Brannick parts of some type.
Oh, yeah. I just meant the aluminum trailing arm.
Yeah.
I saw so many cars with aluminum trailing arms this year. And obviously, Brannick, you could see him when he posts pictures. There's like 6 sets laid in a row. You can see the guys pumping out a lot of those things. And it's kind of neat to see that for so long we have stolen tons of stuff. It was kind of neat to see Ultra 4 kind of start adapting some bouncing stuff just because and I tell people all the time, hey, we only steal your good ideas. We're only going to take the good ones, you know. But and it's just neat because, when you look at an Ultra 4 car, it is kind of the Swiss Army knife. You can take it dirt, sand, rocks, trees, trails, doesn't matter. And it
played on pavement.
And it does. Yeah, Lauren Healy out there, doing donuts and with Vaughn and out there getting crazy. And you can kind of see that you can take that anywhere and have a ball with that car. So
yeah, they're very impressive. Speaking of Brannick's, that's one shop that I'd love to see. I've still never walked through there. I know it's a total family affair, and the whole crew's in there working and family and.
And the 15-year-old grandson is taking reins now of the car.
I want to put that one on the recommended list for a shop tour that I want to see on video for whatever channel this ends up coming out to.
And they have sponsored the EMC before too, especially with, like I said, the stock class. They try to help out a lot of guys. I know they sponsor a lot of cars as well, whether it be partial sponsorship, full sponsorship with parts and stuff. And I don't think there's anybody on the lake brother who doesn't know who Brannick is.
No.
If not, you'll know really quick. And Stan's one of the nicest guys. Anybody come in his pit, hang out. I'm in Illinois, Central Illinois, so they're not too far from us. So that Team Indiana crew is pretty good guys. And
and probably the best Bloody Mary on the lake bed. Without a doubt.
I could imagine.
Great group.
Great people.
I'll say Dirty Turtle Off-Road Park isn't too far from their shop, so they do a lot of stuff with Dirty Turtle, and you see them at a lot of events there. So it's always a good time.
Haven't been to Dirty Turtle in years.
I've never been there.
It's a pretty neat park.
It's pretty good.
Got a fun little short course.
Yeah, they have a really small short course, and then usually they'll add some wood sections in it, so it's kind of neat.
I'm really excited to be going back to BFE here in a few weeks.
Yeah.
Oh, that place is amazing.
There's so much potential there we also haven't tapped. I've trail wheeled there a lot. Robert that owns Area BFE is a friend, and it's just an amazing property. They don't have near the facilities because they just don't have the room. It's going to be a little crowded on vendors and all of that, but it is what it is. But from a racer standpoint, the racing there is fun. Yeah. It's hell on tires.
Yeah.
That's what I've heard.
But that adds something, too, because you got to pay attention to what you're doing. You got to have some tire maintenance.
Yeah. That's what we were, Miles and I would always talk about, is because the tires, every time somebody would come in with a flat, it was the same one. We're like, they have to be hitting the same dang rock or something. But it was always the same flat. So Area BFE is definitely a place that I haven't been out into, but the course alone.
You need to.
Yeah. I need to do a lot in Moab. I have never gone wheeling there.
Yeah, I know. I've never wheeled there, and I'm really excited to go out there in a couple weeks. I'm like, I want to find somebody that has a side-by-side, just go hit some trails and have a good time. And
we can do that.
Yeah, I want to so bad. It's like Moab has been a bucket list thing for me for years.
Have you ever been there at all?
No.
Oh, it's beautiful.
I've seen pictures and videos for decades.
I've seen the to the town to BFE and back to the town. I haven't been out on the trails, but just in general, like everything is.
Potato Salad Hill. I remember reading back before there was an internet. I'd read magazines and I'd cut little pictures out of Potato Salad Hill. So I'm pretty excited.
Oh, look at this guy coming in hot. That is that Connor? That's Connor.
Yep.
Connor just came in. He is now
sixth lap.
Yep.
Again,
17:34 was his last lap time, so a little slower than his last lap.
Dwayne Garrison is on his fifth lap, and we have 2 or 3 guys behind him on the fourth. After that, everybody else is on their third. So, Connor is absolutely setting this course on fire today.
That was a great shot just now of the pit area that the drone had up on the screen. You can really see how they have it all lined up with the Easy Ups, with all the sponsors. They have Nitto, Ultimax, Ford, Rigid, Maxxis, and Raceline, and so they have all those Easy Ups up there. Everybody has a numbered pit spot. That's what's super cool about it as well.
Yeah.
Is it pit spot by how you qualified?
It ended up originally was supposed to be that way, but then they switched it around, let people pick pits.
Okay.
Just by some people had trucks and things were fitting in different and better, and it worked out really well. But I love the uniformity of the setup tents. Everybody's got a tent. Everybody's in line. They're not fighting over space.
And they're not having to set up and break down their tent because that sometimes is a pain.
It's really, really slick, and it's clean.
Yeah, it was kind of neat watching them, set them all up and make sure they were exactly lined up perfect and make sure everybody's ready to go. And I like they put the big number on the front, so as you're pulling in, you're like, okay, I'm 30. I see 40, 39, 38. You can know exactly where your pit's at.
See, I haven't been down here until this morning. So when I came rolling in here and I saw that, I was like, made my OCD so happy because it was all lined up perfectly.
Yes. Jason was down here with a micrometer making sure it was perfect. So it was neat,
My OCD and my planning that I'm always going on, in my head, it was perfect right there.
I really like the setup where you can go through the center hot, where you're not having to slow down for pit road unless you're pitting.
Yeah,
and you can maintain race pace.
And there was guys
that puts that in front of the crowd as well.
Right.
Dude, there was guys full sending it today. It was awesome. I mean, they were landing 3/4 the way down the jump today. It was super awesome to watch, And I think you're going to see some big cars. Some of the we watched, Zandy and Chip were qualifying, and they were both absolutely sending it.
They're going to send it.
Those guys are going to be hauling through. So I'm excited to watch some of the big cars come flying through there because I think those guys can be pretty ornery too. So
I want to talk to Levi because he was retiring Loretta.
Yeah,
at Hammers.
I saw that.
And here she is.
So Levi's having a new car built by Rob Butler. Rob has Off-Road Armory. Rob built the car that Levi and I raced for Ultra 4 Europe in 16, 17. I don't remember what year it was now. They all run together. We ran a full series over there. Rob built his car that was amazing, and then Levi sold it in Europe and left it there. He's been working with Rob for a couple years, kind of picked the best of all worlds and had a car put together that Levi was going to run for Hammers. And just between what I understand, COVID and shipping and back and forth in the world
Right.
the way it is, the car's still not here.
Okay.
It may be now, I don't know. I haven't talked to Levi recently on it, but I think it's just not quite ready yet.
He posted a picture the other day. What is he naming for his new car?
I don't remember.
I can't remember either. That
Justin.
was Justin Barth.
Yep.
I can tell by I know his motor sound.
Yeah.
So I don't know what he named her. I can't remember what the name is. And he's like, I'm sorry, you can't come out and play this weekend or something
Yeah.
like
I'm sure
that.
if he had it ready to be here, I mean, it would be if it was me because it's not a points race. It's not a points
Right.
that matters. What better shakedown race
Yeah.
for a brand new
Exactly.
car?
Better way to get dialed in totally.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So, I mean, other than there's some money
Yeah.
up for grabs.
Yeah.
But Loretta, she didn't have a good last run. I mean, she blew her
It's
transmission.
a very,
so
very proven car, though.
Yeah.
very,
Oh,
very,
yeah.
100%, but not a way to take her out,
Yeah.
But
Is Loretta what he won Hammers in?
Levi hasn't won Hammers.
Okay. I was thinking he won 1 year.
Or did he win 4,800?
I'm not sure. To
It's
be honest.
possible.
It's horrible. I'm
I don't
so
think
sorry.
so.
Okay.
But
Somebody will tell us.
Yeah.
Somebody tell
Yep.
us on the
The
live feed.
lets you know whenever you're wrong.
Or Miles,
I promise
if you're
you.
in the middle of lunch at Disneyland
Yes.
or
He's
Disney
probably
World.
he's on a ride. He's on a ride texting me right now.
He's on a roller coaster going upside down,
Yeah.
watching his phone. Watching
He
the
can
live.
tell me the place of every year he's finished probably.
He's awesome. He knows this stuff like the back of his hand.
Levi's been very close a few years. He's definitely a contender. We were close a couple years when I was with him. I raced 3 or 4 Hammers with Levi.
Yeah.
And just dumb stuff,
Yeah.
It's Hammers.
And I tell you, look, that's $2 bolt. You can break a $2
Yeah.
bolt and end your day.
Let's see. I'm trying to look up the name of his.
Yeah,
new
he's
car.
never not a contender.
Yeah. Jed Harper tuning in there with us. What's up, buddy? Colleen, Ethan Martin, other side-by-side racer. We always ask cool questions like, what's the fastest time you'll be there? Where are you guys tuning in from? And it's neat to see all the different places, all the countries tune in from on the live feed. It's super, super cool to see.
I mean, there's people all over the world watching, and then you have Jim Martison, who's actually in the States right
Yes.
now, but announcing at a different race and having him.
Him and Ricky are down there at the
Yep.
Mint.
I was struggling with that. I was supposed to be at the Mint, too. And
I just flew in from there yesterday.
this rescheduled on top of it was it is what it is. It's a bummer, but that's good for our sport that there are options.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
it's neat to have to pick. But, but
you just hate to see that the two big races kind of fell on the same
Yeah.
weekend. It kind of stinks, but
Say Levi won nationals one time is something I'm getting.
Okay.
Alan Hitch O'Neill is chiming in here.
okay.
oh, he's won nationals, but I thought we were talking about Hammers.
Yeah, I was thinking he won. I was thinking he won Hammers 1 year, but maybe it was just
He's
nationals.
been really close. I know he's been on the podium.
Yeah, maybe that's what it was. I was thinking with Loretta. I was thinking it was with Loretta, but
Alan always gives us information every time during races
Yep.
on messengers.
Shelby St. Clair, what's up, buddy? Yeah, rescheduling kind of stunk that they rescheduled the race, but it was ended up being a way better thing because
definitely.
I had seen a lot of I knew again, like I said, we're Illinois. I was like, oh, it's a storm, no big deal. We have ice all the time, or we have snow all the time. And then I saw how much ice they had, and I was like, there's no way you could have got semis in here.
No,
way.
I came in my chase truck in 4-wheel drive with the trailer and struggled getting in.
I don't know how
And
you got big vehicles in here.
got here and stopped, and then I stayed for 2 days because I didn't want to leave in it. It was bad.
Yeah, and again, like I said, when you start posting, I seen the train. I knew it was Disney, and I was like, man, it was just like one big ice glacier. I was
Yeah.
like, there's no way where they got big trucks and trailers, and then you had big trucks sliding around. It would have been safe here, much less trying to get here. So it was a good thing it canceled. Unfortunately, that had to, but.
That's nothing anybody ever wants to do. That's a hard decision.
Yeah.
But I believe they made the right call for
Yeah,
everyone.
I
I mean,
I totally agree.
part of the
100%.
interstate was shut down.
Yeah.
That's just what was best.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
that was tough. That was a tough. I know. I was just like super excited to watch it, and then I'm like, oh.
Yeah, it stunk to head to, but again, like safety things. Again, anybody who'd seen your Instagram, it was so icy, it was crazy.
Yeah, it wasn't a matter of racing the course. It was a matter of people getting here.
Yeah, again, when you're talking about a semi and like a 40-foot enclosed trailer, there's almost no way to get that in when there's that much ice.
No.
It won't even get up the hill, much less pull in the park.
Well, and the Truetts were on their way here, and they got a call, and they're like turned around. Good thing they weren't too far.
I'd seen Chip had posted a picture that morning. I think on the Thursday before, and he had posted a picture because Clyde called me and was like, "Yeah, they're gonna have to cancel it." He's like, "I'm on the phone." He's like, "I've talked to Jason 3 times today," and he's like, "They're gonna have to call it." He goes, "Hates to, but." And I was just getting ready to leave Illinois and head this way, and I after shut everything down and packed everything, looked down, and Chip had posted those pictures. And it was like snowing and headed, either headed here, and he said it was just such icy conditions.
No,
like
I was at Tulsa when JT called me, and literally only one on the highway in 4-wheel drive, plowing this way with the trailer.
With a trailer.
And he's like, "How bad is it?" And I'm like,
"It's bad.
It's 20 mile an hour bad."
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, coming back or getting picked up at the airport yesterday on the way back, there was a couple ice spots we hit.
Yeah.
It wasn't.
Yeah, I'm sure it was in a 4-wheel-drive truck with a trailer. It's still sketchy, I'm sure.
Yeah, it wasn't good. So I wouldn't have wanted to be in anything else.
Yeah,
especially it was the right call.
Big semi, a big trailer, something like that. I don't think it would have been safe. So
no, that was definitely the right call. I mean, you don't want to, have the racers, wrecking their vehicles on their way here, trying to get to the race and whatnot. So it's definitely was a right call. Unfortunately, we cannot control Mother Nature.
Yeah, we can control a lot. That's one thing we can't control.
Obviously, I mean, look, she tried to take us out again this weekend.
I think there's a lot of learning going on here, which one thing JT and Jason have proven is they're going to listen and learn and evolve. And I believe for next year there will not be a race here this early.
Yeah.
And there won't be a race this close to Hammers. Give us a little more time for prep and everything, which is all good.
Especially being Hammers is such a long, violent race. You really need to almost rebuild the whole car. I mean, at least bolt check everything really, really good.
There's Dwayne Garrettson.
It's not just taking panels off and checking stuff out. It's a more labor intensive quote unquote bolt check after Hammers.
And it's not even that. It's the family aspect. I mean, you're on the lake bed for 2.5, 3 weeks.
Yeah.
And then it might be a 4-day drive home across the country. And then you get home. The last thing you want to do is prep your car to be somewhere in a week and get parts. I want to see my family and take a day off.
Have a day job. I mean, some people take off, work to go.
Yes.
Yeah,
and then you have a day
just
job.
spent your vacation, then you want to leave again. There needs to be a little break after the long ones.
Yeah.
That's just the way it needs to be.
Yeah, and I agree. Like I said, if nothing else, just for turnaround time for getting parts, trying to put everything back together. I mean, if you're breaking the first mile, that's one thing. Your car's probably already pretty prepped, but if you do the complete Hammers and complete it, I mean, your car needs a lot of TLC afterwards.
Yep.
So,
and
it doesn't matter if it's a big car or side by side; it still needs a lot of TLC.
And there's a lot of teams. The larger teams are able to completely 100% tear their car down, go through every nut and bolt. Not every person can do that.
Well, that's not the majority of teams, probably,
right.
though.
Exactly.
And there's some mental TLC. I mean, after being on the lake bed for 2.5 weeks, the last thing I want to do is go hammer on the car.
Yeah,
I could care less when I get home. I didn't this year. I didn't take anything out of the trailer for a week. I just backed it in and unhooked it.
You're like, it's good, it's fine.
Yeah,
I'm gonna take a nap.
Yeah,
I'm gonna go take a hot shower and just sleep for a day.
Yeah. So you need a break. There needs to be a break in the schedule there to give everybody time to adequately prepare.
Yeah, and I think that's smart. That's good. That's a good point.
Yep.
All right. Well, it sounds like we have a commercial, so we're gonna go to a commercial break here and come back and look at some more action and see who all is still on course.
No matter how hard we tried, we just couldn't get longer life out of our belts.
That's why we were so excited when we found these new Gates Redline belts. They have a super simple 3-step process for breaking in your belt the right way. Clean the sheaves with a Scotch-Brite pad. Remove any old belt residue, glazing, oil, or debris on the clutch sheath area with alcohol or acetone, and make sure the breather tubes are free of any old belt material. Step 2, install your new Gates Redline belt. Step 3, perform 2 10 to 15 minute heat cycles, giving it easy throttle on flat ground. Then, you're going to repeat for the second heat cycle.
The best part, the process is so simple and easy, it really helped us with our competitiveness.
Yep.
Your usual, sir?
Please. The sound of a 1000cc turbo engine cranking at 8,000 RPMs just got better. HMF, the official sound of the off-road.
What is up, everybody? We are here at Mid-America Off-Road Park for the 918 Grand Prix Off-Road Endurance Race this weekend. It is a little chilly out today. Like I said, we have Terry Madden up here talking with us. We have our EMC class out there right now. We've had slowly about once every 20 minutes a guy drops off. We have a couple guys who I don't think are on track anymore, and we have a couple guys who have fallen back a little bit off pace. And we got 2 or 3 guys out there that are still trying to set this course on fire. We'll see our leaderboard here shortly, and we can kind of check it out. Again, this is the 918 Grand Prix race. We're not part of the Ultra 4 Series, although we do have some Ultra 4 Series races coming.
Yes.
This is not also a points race. This is mainly just kind of a fun weekend. Great way to get cars dialed in, a chance for people to see the park. Again, it's a little brisk, so you don't get we didn't get the pool action going on this weekend, so
45-14. That's Troy Digby that just went across our line.
Okay.
So we do have how many on course now? Let's see. We have our leaderboard up right now. So we have Connor Foltz in that number 1 position, number 46. And then second position, the 26 of Dwayne Garrettson. Those are the only 2 out on lap number 6. And then in third place, the 417 of Justin Barth. And then we have fourth place, Trevor Foltz, and then the number 3. And then fifth place is the number 23 of Cody St. Clair. So we only have 2 people out there on lap number 6 at this time.
And we only have 2 people on lap 5. And then Shelby St. Clair is on lap 4. So, I mean, again, a couple of those guys have dropped out. It looks like Henson's out. And then we got a few guys that are down there, down a few laps. So
yes, we did see McKinson over here right behind us. There was an area that
working on.
Sorry, car coming through.
Yep.
So that was Connor Foltz that just came through. He is our leader right now, unofficial leader, and he is now out on lap 7.
Wow.
So Dwayne Garrettson, I believe, was about 17 minutes behind him. We'll see that now. So 19 lap time. Well, there's a 17 lap time. So we should see Dwayne coming through here in just a little bit. I
say Dwayne and Justin I think are both about 18, 19-minute roughly laps. So I know Justin is down 1 lap, so we'll see where that puts him out.
So we have lap counts up there, and then we have their lap times. So it's saying Dwayne's a lap down right now, but let's see if there's a time gap. But there definitely is a little bit of attrition setting in out there on course today.
Quickly is.
And you were saying McKinson, so right behind us earlier, I totally went off whenever Connor was coming through, but there was a dip right there, and I'm not sure if something happened to his car.
Yeah.
When he went through it, but they ended up having to tow him out of that area.
Yeah, I saw him heading over with the forks on the inloader.
Yes.
Anytime you see an inloader heading over, that doesn't necessarily look super great. So
it's not super exciting.
Yeah,
exactly.
It's not, especially if it's your car getting towed out of the ditch. So I'm just trying to see what we can figure out for that, but. So it looks like they got him towed off course. Unfortunately, I haven't seen him making a lap in a while. And again, I think if you're, I'm not sure what this. A lot of times, if you receive outside help, you're automatically out of the race. But if it's a safety issue, and again, I know that that was kind of the narrow part where all the cars were going through. So if it turns out to be a safety issue, a lot of times they can go ahead and they'll pull you out of the way. Just mainly that with traffic, you don't impede traffic for the rest of the course.
Right.
So a lot of times they'll pull you out just mainly as a safety issue. And if it's a track official or something, there is some provisions for that as well. So again, it may have been that case, or he may have just said, "Hey, listen, we're clearly broke. Pull me back. We'll get it loaded on the trailer, and not a big deal." So
exactly. But, yeah, there's definitely a lot going on where we started with, I believe, 12 vehicles in total, and we only have a few of them still out running on course right now. So
again,
it's setting in.
2, and only 1, I believe, on our last lap. Like I said, don't think Garrison's quite started that last lap for him yet.
Well, Connor's on lap 8, or 7, so 3 more laps to go still for them.
Yeah,
before the checkered flag comes out.
Yeah, he's on lap 8, and then Garrison, I don't think he has started his lap 8, so he's on lap 7. So, and then we have several guys behind him that are 1 to 2 laps down.
Right.
So
as long as Connor stays consistent of where he's at right now. Right now, it's like you need to think about: should I keep going at it, or should I just play it safe?
Yes.
I know I'm in the lead. Let's just be safe, keep consistent, back it down just a little bit if need be.
And he probably, honestly, he could right now. I think he is going quick enough. I think he could probably take some time and, just set a nice, easy race pace. And
yeah, because he definitely has quite the lead right now.
Yeah. But at the same time, if you're in that race pace mode, it's kind of hard to if you're in that race pace mode, it's kind of hard to come out. And again, his team may not have communications with him. The radio system could have gone down. He doesn't know. He thinks that guy's right behind him, so he's trying to push really hard.
Yes.
He's still running 17-ish minutes a lap. So
you hear that a lot too.
Oh yeah. He's like, I thought he's right behind me the whole time. And you find out, what's up, bro? You find out You find out that the guy you thought was nipping on your heels was not even close to you.
Exactly.
He was broke 10 miles back. So
right. That's when it's bad you don't have that radio communication. Sometimes people will get so in the moment they forget to put their antenna on. Something as simple as that and not have radio communication when they get so far away.
What's up? What's up, dog? Clyde's back there eating some wonderful dark chocolate they're munching on. It's okay.
It looks like one of those world famous chocolate bars that you buy from the kids that are selling them.
Oh yeah,
it is.
That's good times.
He's like, hey, look what I have, and you guys don't.
We try to come prepared with our snacky snacks.
Here, I have my apples and mango bar. I'll trade.
Yeah.
Can we trade? Tradesies?
Yeah. Yeah. Sure. Oh, there we go. That's what I'm talking about.
Here, I'll share one whole piece. Such a great group of people. Gracias.
It's a good time.
It is good time. Good times here. Mid-America.
It is.
All these people here, because I've never been here, have been so welcoming and
amazing.
So nice and helpful, and it's pretty cool. And my cabin, I will not complain one bit about my cabin.
The thing that blew me away, I think, the very first time I was here, obviously the pool was here, and I heard about that, and that was awesome. But it was really hot. It was a summertime event. It was super, super hot that day, and I walked in the bathhouse, and they were air-conditioned. And then I came here for our finals, and it was really cold, and they were heated. And I was like, they have heated and air-conditioned bathhouses. That is so, so incredible.
It's genius, too. That's great. Great for return people.
Oh, it's amazing.
It'll bring people here.
It's amazing. I love it.
Not just heated and AC bathhouses, but just everything in general.
Yeah, well, I think that kind of shows the quality of effort they're putting into the whole park.
Heated pool, next level.
We mentioned that.
I wouldn't get in it.
He said, "Well, I don't know." He said, "We'll talk about it." But we had mentioned, hey, because our finals is in November, so obviously November is usually pretty chilly.
Right.
I said, October. Well, and then so I said, well, maybe we could get heated pool. And he said, well, we'll talk about it. We'll talk about it. But it's always a good time. Come out. Like I said, our Visions is June, July-ish.
Okay.
I don't remember the exact date. It's either June or July. One of the two.
It's July.
Okay, so July. So obviously very warm in July. So Visions, that pool is usually packed, and there's tons of off-road people in it. And when you get a bunch of off-road people together, it's always a very, very good time. I know a lot. With Ultra 4 being here this year, a lot of rock bouncers were there last year because we had 2 or 3 different rock bouncer classes. We had the hills.
Oh, there went Trevor Foltz. He's now in that number 3 spot. So where did Justin Barth go?
I'm not sure.
Justin Barth came through here earlier in that 3rd position.
We'll see. We'll see what happens. There it goes. Shows him bumping up. So we got 2 guys on our 6th lap. Again, Foltz just started, and then we have the Connor leading still. So Trevor is just starting his lap. So a little, and again, still running pretty quick time there. But I don't know if it'll be enough to catch up.
Oh, may have lost a tire or a wheel.
That's not good.
Justin Barth?
That stinks.
He had a great run this morning in the UTVs.
Yeah.
Turning around and getting right back into a race car again.
Yeah.
That's awesome to see people do that.
Again, stopped out looking at it, so I'm not sure exactly what happened there.
Right behind us here?
Yeah. You can see on the screen. Looks like he's, I don't know, waving it.
That is not Justin Barth.
Trying to see what's going on. Maybe the wheel took off, and that's why he's walking forward. It's actually right behind us, but we can't quite see it.
Is that Connor?
Nick has zoomed in as close as he can, I think. We're trying to see if we can get a car number. He took off running forward, so maybe he did lose a tire, and it rolled down the hill.
We have our safety crew heading over that direction right now. It is Trevor Foltz.
And again, he had just come through here. So I don't know if he hit the jump a little hard and broke off some lug nuts or if he had a hub that finally let go. Again, the passenger is out of the car, and the driver hopped out and jumped off and took off running, I think, after the wheel.
It almost looks like you can see that he does have a front tire up on the driver's side. Maybe.
So it looks like he has both passenger tires on. I'm not sure about the driver's side. Driver rear. Again, it depends on. There's a little bit of a berm there, so you can't quite tell how the car's sitting.
They didn't stop at the proper angle for us.
Yes. Like, if you guys could back up a little bit, we need to get a better angle on that.
Right?
Oh, he's rolling it back up. So I wonder what happened.
That's so unfortunate.
I don't know if he broke off lug nuts. Luckily, he's pretty close to the pits. He could probably throw it in reverse. If it's on the front of the car, he could probably throw it in reverse and back to the pits.
Yeah, you cannot
That's
go backwards on course, so big ol' no-no.
That stinks. To be 100 feet from your pits and changing a tire. All your guys watching like, hey!
I don't think he's, something broke, though. That's not changing a tire for sure. So if he had studs break off, he's not going to be able to get going again. Or, a hub.
Well, if it's really, really broke, he probably figures, hey, we're not going to get a finish out of it. We might as well just drive off course.
Yeah, they're just going to throw that tire up.
I said maybe he broke the rim. See what he's going to do here.
Well, he's not taking the spare off, so it's definitely not just a tire change.
See what he's. I'll say we'll see.
He's moving.
See what he does here.
We'll know here. Well, we might not know. He might just drive straight to his main pit.
Yeah. Car's moving fairly quickly for not having a tire and rim on.
Looks like it's the rear that's gone because you can see he has both front tires. So he's just dragging that left rear trailing arm right now. That's got to be good on the brakes.
Yeah.
So unfortunate. He was running good.
That does stink.
He's in that third position.
Yeah. Making great time.
Yes. But Brothers in first place still right now in official.
Again, he might be trying to just limp it off course or just he might be trying to get out of the way to change it. Again, we'll see if we can't catch up with him shortly. He might be trying to just get out of the way of the racers and then see if they can fix it, whatever it is. If he comes back, if it's just, like I said, wheel studs, he can always jog back to the pit, get a hub. A lot of guys are running that F550 hub. It's only 4 bolts that hold it in.
Mm-hmm.
Take those 4 bolts out.
Well, he parked back here behind us next to the safety vehicle, so it looks like he is just pulled off course. So he's parked over there wondering they're out of the car as well.
He might be able to, again, like I said, if he's running the F550 hubs, he might be able to take the the 4 bolts on the back, take the F550 hub, run to the pit, grab one. Again, they're super easy to change to a small. A lot of the rock bouncer guys have converted to those. Run a reed knuckle with the 4 bolts that hold that it's that 05 or newer F550 hub. A lot of guys are going to it just because it's pretty self-contained and it's really easy to change in case an instance like where you break one. You have it's usually they come on the 8 by 170 millimeters. They'll re-drill them for 8 by 6.5, which fits a lot of the older stuff. They slap it on and ready to go, and you can change them pretty quickly. Obviously, the off part is already done.
Right.
You just got to get back on.
Exactly.
So, and again, if it's they can take the lugs off of the nuts off of there, and be able to put the tire back on. They can even reuse the same rim and tire. So we'll see.
They are both walking back to their pit. Fire suit down. Maybe we could get him over here and come chit-chat with us about race course and what was going on for him.
We'll have to see.
We can get somebody to get him over here to us.
They're not jogging back to the pit.
No, they're not in a hurry. So
they're casually walking. So
Travis's pit, if you guys can hear us, have him come over and chit-chat with us.
And we'll see. Again, like I said, I think he was in 3rd place. So depending on what
he just came through in 3rd place.
So there's a couple guys behind him. It looks like Cody St. Clair's out. So we'll see. Again, I think Cody was in 5th place.
I wonder why he's saying he's out. He went through earlier, unless something happened on course and we can't see it.
I haven't seen him come through in a while. Justin Barth, again, is sitting in 4th, but if he's still going, he might be able to knock off Trevor. We'll see. We'll see if he can pick him off there. I don't know how that'll fold. Again, you hate to see those guys walking back.
It is such a bummer.
It is. You can tell they're just kind of bummed and frustrated, but.
Yeah, I'm going to say it again. So, Trevor Foltz, if you can hear us and you want to come over and chit-chat with us, come over to the production trailer so we can talk to you about your race. Might not be able to hear us, though.
Yeah. Again, those guys have been getting it all day.
You can see how our pit layout is. Yes. Super exciting. It's been a good day.
It has been a good day.
It's been chilly, and it's
Little
now
bit.
we're getting in the shade, so it's going to
slowly
cool down a little
sun's
bit.
starting to cool down a little bit. I'll say it's 3:30 here in the afternoon.
So we've been at it for 2.5 hours now?
Yeah, to an hour and a half. We started at 1, right?
1, 2, 3. It's 3:30?
Yeah, right. Yeah, is it? Yeah, 3:30. So we've been at it for 2.5 hours. Yeah. Okay.
It's the cold getting to
It
you.
is. It is. So we've been out for 2.5 hours. We're gonna be. I think we're on lap 7, lap 8.
Yes.
So we got about half hour probably to go, 45 minutes.
And then the 4,400 class starts at 4 o'clock.
4 o'clock starts at 4. Which we're gonna be pushing. It's 3:30 now, and we got every bit of 30 minutes left. We'll be pushing to finish by 4.
So it's all going to depend on Connor Fultz getting in here. He has 2 laps left to do.
It really is. It really is. He's going to have to push pretty hard again. But his last couple laps have right around 17-ish. So
right.
I mean, that's still pushing pretty hard.
I believe he's on lap 8 right now.
If he does, he will be finishing right almost a few minutes after 4. So we can always push those guys back to 4:30 if need
Well, here's
be.
Dwayne Garrettson right here with the all 4 tires are aired up. So maybe he's just going to do a splash and go.
Maybe.
Because he is running in that number 2 spot right now. Hi. Mr. Trevor's coming over here.
Awesome.
It's awesome. Come on up, Trevor. Tough deaf day so far, right?
Yes, it is.
Thank you for coming over here. No problem. I know it's difficult when you have something going on. You were running so good.
So
you were running in that. You just came through in that number 3 spot. What happened?
So how's it going?
So to start the day off, race course, I love it.
Yep. Well, everybody has come up and said they love the course. They've had so much fun out there.
I can believe that. So what happened was earlier in the day, I rolled over on the hillside right behind us here.
Really?
Oh my gosh.
Yep. We got the car turned back over. And we just came through here on this last lap, and I broke all the studs on the unibearing.
Wow. Well, it just talked about. Are you running the F550 unibearings?
Yeah, on the Spider Track axles,
yep,
yes, sir.
Yep. And we talked about. I said, well, if they broke all the studs off and you have a spare unit bearing, you might be able to get it changed and go back out. You're currently sitting in 3rd, I believe. So if no one is 4th place, I think Justin is still out there. Jason Barth. If he can't pass you in the next 30 minutes, you might be able to still come in 3rd place for the day. So fingers crossed, you can still hold on to that podium finish. Again, we'll see how it all shakes out. Right now,
your brother,
Connor is in 1st place. Garrison is in 2nd. You're in 3rd, and Justin Barth is in 4th. Cody St. Clair is out, but he's in 5th. So I think we only have one guy, I think, at this point that could knock you down.
But at the beginning, you came through in the number 1 spot.
Yes, I did. So we actually had a little bit of malfunctions with electrical today, too.
Okay.
We hit a water hole, and the whole car lost power.
Oh, wow.
For about 5 seconds. And that was just enough time for my brother to make a new path and get around me.
Oh, the brotherly love on race course.
And I like it because he did not nerf me at all today.
Hey, I appreciate that. You appreciate that.
Yep. But I did just find out when I came back over, he has a 60-gallon fuel cell in his car.
Yeah.
And he is completely out of gas.
Ooh.
Oh, no. Where's he at?
Mile marker 6.
So he's stopped right now?
He stopped on course.
Oh, wow. That's going to shake it up.
Yeah,
Definitely.
again, like I said, we have, it'll be interesting because in the next half hour, we'll see how it plays out. So.
You said 2 miles from here?
Just 2 miles, and his co-driver is very in shape, so he's going to be running.
So he's going to run in and get some fuel in.
Yes, ma'am.
So he's going to run in and grab just a couple gallon gas can. But how big is his fuel cell?
60 gallons.
60 gallons.
He burned 60 gallons in
That is
8 laps?
That's like
8 laps.
That's like a 55-gallon drum plus a 5-gallon can. He burned all of that in eight laps.
That is probably why Dwayne Garrettson just came in and
fueled.
I'm
sure if he heard that on the radio.
Now he's in number 1. He'll be in 1st position.
Yep.
Wow.
When he cuts by Connor, he'll be in the number 1 position.
Wow.
Man.
And again, like I said, we'll see if how that shakes out. If he can go ahead and knock him down, get one more lap in, before Connor can, it'll be interesting to see, how that works out. But
wow,
that's
interesting.
Yeah, it is.
Yes, it is.
So your season, are you planning to run like an East Series or?
So we are planning on running the East Series at Rush, AOP. Crandon is about a 14-hour drive, but we're going to try and make it this year because previous years we haven't been able to make it because of money and work, and can't get off from what pays for all this.
Yeah.
So.
Right. We were
that
just
whole
discussing that.
40-hour work week takes a bit of your schedule out. You know,
Yes, it does.
it's kind of rough. You know.
Mm-hmm.
What'd you think of the course so far today?
It actually got really good throughout the day. It dried up. There was no water besides in the creek crossings.
Yep.
It's very fast. I think our average.
Here he is. Sorry to interrupt.
Yep. There he is. Running.
Jogging through.
Yes, he is.
Can we get a drone on that guy? That would be super cool.
He's like, hey.
Oh, he just stopped.
Yeah, that's yeah.
I'm sorry, I totally interrupted you.
You're
so the
all
course.
good.
So it's fast course, felt good.
Yeah, our average speed today, I think, was like 45, 50 mile an hour
Wow,
for everything.
yeah.
It was awesome. The field sections, I think we got up to like 85, 90.
Yeah. How big is your fuel cell?
60 gallons as well. So my brother's car and my car are identical.
Okay.
Besides the motors.
Okay.
Oh.
And he's got a close to 1,000 horsepower motor.
Okay. Yeah.
And I'm running a 800 horsepower
So
Mopar.
a little more horsepower sucked a little more fuel probably.
Yes, it did.
45-14 right there. That is Troy Digby.
And again, he might be a little bit lower down.
He's like he's a
Sixth
lap
place, I
down.
think. Two laps maybe.
But he is in that. I mean, he's a lap down, and it's still he's on lap 5. But he's in that
Yep.
number
Yeah.
5 spot.
Yeah, there we
that
go.
goes to show you
Yeah.
the attrition that has set
Yeah.
in with you guys today.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy. Just again, I think being an endurance race, anything can happen. But
Yes, it can.
So what was your favorite part of the race course? Did you have a favorite part?
The hay barn.
The hay barn.
The
That's
hay
what I
barn.
hear.
That was I've never raced through a building, and that is very, very cool to do.
Okay,
Yeah.
that seems like it would be cool. I know that there's a rally school up in Washington that I actually attended, and they have a barn kind of like that when they do have races up there, they race through it and rally.
That's super cool.
That's awesome.
So
All right.
here he is.
That's
What's
your brother's co-driver?
Tell us about your brother's co-driver.
So that is actually my brother.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, he's
rock paper scissors.
Walking right up to the booth there.
He's like, man,
He's like, I need some snacks. Can I get some fuel? Can I get a hug?
snacky snack.
Yeah, can I get some snacky snacks? Can I get a hug?
if someone gives him a water and M&Ms, I'm gonna laugh on camera. I'm
Yeah.
not gonna joke.
Yeah.
So it must be rock paper scissors to see who was running in.
Yep, I guess so. I guess so.
He looks exhausted.
Now got a water there.
Okay, so where are you guys from?
So we are from St. Louis, Missouri. Well,
Okay.
about 45 minutes west of St. Louis in a little town called Pacific.
I know where that's at, near St. Louis, near Six Flags, actually.
Yes, sir.
I live in Decatur, Illinois, so I drive through Pacific all the time.
Yep.
Me and Curtis stopped and got to see monster trucks. I have some friends with the guys. Darren Schneller, who drives for Bigfoot. I'm pretty good friends. Got to meet him not too long ago, and then me and Curtis went out and goofed off and had some supper. So
Yep.
Curtis, good dude.
So there is actually, speaking of monster trucks, there's actually a former monster truck from Bigfoot driver here. It's AJ Stropman in car 40,
really?
I didn't know
4906.
That's awesome. That's
Yep.
super cool.
That's pretty cool. Well, you know about who else is here that's a monster truck driver? You heard that in the drivers' meeting last night, right?
Yes, I did.
Yeah. Where's he at? He was standing over here earlier.
We got a car dead on course. Is that your brother's car?
Um,
I know once they all get dirty, it's kind of hard to tell.
Nope, that's not him.
Does that St. Clair?
Maybe. Does it look kind of?
The tire is not far enough off the back of it for it to be my brother's car.
Oh, that one's moving again.
Yep.
Again, it's kind of interesting to see how it's all going to unfold. We got 2 guys on the 7th lap. We got 1 guy on the 6th lap and 2 guys on the 5th lap. Again, to see who can actually get that final finish out first. We'll see how that shakes out. Hopefully the hub's pretty easy to replace. So usually that's not too bad of a deal.
I got one sitting on the garage floor at
Yep.
home.
Yeah. So you can get it home, get it changed.
Well, and if you're running the East Coast, I mean, that race is April 23rd, 24th weekend in Rush, Kentucky, so you have plenty of time.
Oh, yeah. We'll have plenty of time to completely go back over the car and get it ready for Rush. And Rush is a very fun course from previous years and racing there. So
That's what I was wondering if you've ever been there.
Yep.
Were you there? You were there last year, correct?
yes, I was. And we
Yes.
were there last year, and we actually had a mechanical issue last year, and we had a link bar
Okay.
come out.
Ouch.
That was
stinks.
a muddy race last
Yes,
year.
it
yeah.
was. Very.
Very muddy. I actually got out on course whenever Jamie McCoy, who is one of the UTV drivers, he was out, and I went on a pre-run with him, and I was amazed at how tight that course was, and you guys in the bigger cars fitting through those the trees.
You're telling me about that.
It was tight.
That's something that their courses are always usually pretty tight through the wood section.
It looked so much fun, though. And then what was awesome is, up on the hill, all the people were just lined up on the hill. And then after, we were all done racing, then we have, the rock racing. I had never seen that live.
Yes.
That was the first time I had ever seen.
What'd you think?
Of course, the first time I ever actually went to King and the Hammers, I'm like, I want to do this. I still want to do that. But when I saw that, I'm like, ooh, I want to go do that.
Yeah.
But
it's a good time.
It looks fun.
I tell people all the time, it's like any kind of racing. I love it. It's the funnest thing in the world until you're broke, and then it just kind of sucks. And it's just expensive usually.
I love adrenaline when it's inside of a race car. I'm not one of those people that, I love adrenaline so much I want to go skydive. I'm not that person.
Nope, that's not me
but
either.
Put me in a race car, man, it's a lot of fun.
So did you guys have pit strategy today when you're talking about fueling? How many laps did you plan on going with?
So we actually had only planned on pitting if we needed tires because my car, I get about 4 miles a gallon, so I was going to burn 43 gallons today.
Okay.
My brother's car, we had averaged it at 2 miles a gallon.
Yeah.
So we were expecting him to be about 51 to 56 gallons.
Yep.
So right there at the mark where he was going to be running out.
Yeah.
And we just took a miscalculation on him.
Super close, too. I mean, for him to be able to walk over here, I mean, obviously you're, a couple hundred yards from the pit, so obviously your calculations were almost dead on. Just came up just a hair short. Again, we had Terry Madden up here earlier. We saw him at King Hammers this year jogging with the fuel thing. So, again, sometimes those calculations, you end up using just a tad bit more fuel, whether the car runs a little warm, car runs a little cool. You end up using just a hair more fuel than you thought you'd use, and unfortunately, you get a little exercise. Not what you're hoping for, but you get a little exercise in there. So
and the pedal. I mean, it depends on how much you're on the pedal too. So
and again, you guys were both up in that top from the pack, so you kind of got to push a little harder.
Yep.
To keep
that is one thing that I've noticed with my brother. His car, it sounds like you're right there.
Yeah.
But he's about 60 yards behind you, and it's scary when he's coming up on you.
So you can hear it that much.
Oh yes.
Oh yeah. That's awesome.
That's pretty cool. So it's kind of like I always compare Casey Gilbert. His car is a completely different beast.
Yeah.
Yep. Casey's car and Connor's car, they're identical to sound when they're behind you.
Now, is your brother's, because it's Texas Speed, right, is who does Casey Gilbert's?
Connor's is not a Texas Speed motor. The motor was actually in the car when we bought that car.
Okay.
So everything was done to it already besides having the supercharger on it that we put on it. So
so supercharger, that's what gives it the extra horsepower.
Yes, it does.
That's super cool. All right, so we are actually going to go to commercial, but you know what? Thank you so much for coming up here, Trevor, and hopefully next race will be better for you.
Yep. Thank you for having me.
You're very welcome. I'm sorry about your luck today, but good luck on the next one, and we'll see you there.
Thank you very much.
All right, and thank you guys. We're going to go to commercial. We'll be right back.
We just couldn't get longer life out of our belts.
That's why we were so excited when we found these new Gates Redline belts. They have a super simple 3-step process for breaking in your belt the right way. Clean the sheaves with a Scotch-Brite pad. Remove any old belt residue, glazing, oil, or debris on the clutch sheath area with alcohol or acetone, and make sure the breather tubes are free of any old belt material. Step 2, install your new Gates Redline belt. Step 3, perform 2 10 to 15 minute heat cycles, giving it easy throttle on flat ground. Then, you're going to repeat for the second heat cycle.
The best part, the process is so simple and easy, it really helped us with our competitiveness.
Yep.
Ready for any challenge. Maxxis tires can handle even the most punishing off-road conditions. Maxxis tires. Tread victoriously.
Welcome back. We have Mr. Joey Beck here. We're at the 918 Grand Prix. So, Mr. Joey, what are we going to talk about?
Well, outside of the layers of clothes that we have on, trying to stay a little bit warm as the shade is dropping on the trailer. I heard you when I was coming back down here, I heard you saying the shade is coming. I said, man, I got to go sit over there.
Yep.
But it is cooling off a little bit. But the cool thing is we're rounding out the end of this EMC race right here. We've got several people still on the course. Attrition is happening. I was just over there. I saw y'all interviewing and talking with Trevor.
Yes.
And he was telling me about the unit bearing and everything that happened. And his brother was standing over there strapping while I was talking to him. 10 gallons of fuel is going on his back. He just took off. I don't know if we got a shot of that.
We had him.
Yeah.
Somebody's running with him.
Yeah, they're running into the woods with fuel.
That's a Terry Madden moment right there.
Yeah, they're getting it done. They're not wanting to quit.
60-gallon tank. He burned all of it in less than 2 hours.
7 laps.
Yeah, that's crazy. 60 gallons of fuel. I said that's like a 55-gallon drum and a 5-gallon gas can on top. He's already
Justin
burned.
Barth right here.
Justin Barth. All right, so that puts him on lap 8 or 9.
So that puts Justin.
I think 8. I think it puts him on lap 8.
That should be lap 8 for sure.
We'll see here in a second when the leaderboard pops up.
So if he's going on lap 8, Connor was already on that lap, correct? But
yes,
he's out of fuel.
I believe so.
So actually, Dwayne Garrettson, if Dwayne Garrettson gets by
Yes.
Connor on course, that will put Dwayne in the number 1 spot.
And if Barth can come around
Exactly.
before they get the fuel in and get that one cranked, then that means that Barth will move into second, and that will put Connor back in the 3rd position.
Exactly.
And Connor's been leading all day.
Yes, all day. And again, we haven't seen him and his brother kind of tag teamed a little bit this morning before they rolled over. So we'll see how they can get things fueled. I think we still have about 2 laps to go.
And they're looking at the front end of Justin Barth's car, so not sure if something might be going on.
Oh, he is. He's in the pits right there. Now, I will tell you, this car is a fairly new car. It's a really well-built car. He's had a ton of success, very little issue out of it. He's running a pretty conservative pace out here. He told me his plan in both races was finish the races, finish all the laps, and he did just that in the UTVs. He did really well in and out, I think, and believe in the top 5. And I think I'm expecting him to pull out of these pits and be able to get back out on course. It doesn't look like they're frantic about it.
No, and they're fueling up. You definitely want to make sure. So what I think happened, I don't know if you were down there, I believe Dwayne Garrettson must have came in to fuel up because he probably passed
So
Connor.
I was at Dwayne's pit when he was fueling. So what he did is he pulled in and he took a few gallons. I think he was already concerned that he was going to run out, which we already know that's what happened to Connor.
Right.
Yeah, and again, like I said, they had talked to me. He said, my brother's car's 1,000 horsepower, mine's 800. So we knew that we both run he said, everything is exactly the same setup on both cars, except he just has a little bit more motor than I have. So we already knew that I would be able to make it probably the full race. He said he would not. And we kind of did some commentary for that. Did some figuring for that and calculations. And he said he ran out. We figured he could make it all the way here, and a couple hundred yards ran out. Right. He said that's how close our calculations were, but we came up just a hair short. So bummer they had to run out. But again, like I said, there's still at this point he's still on the podium. He can get the fuel in, get back out, and get those last few laps wrapped in. So hopefully it'll shake out that way, but we'll see.
Well, I sure hope that they can get the car restarted. You always risk an issue of hurting an injector or anything like that when you run fuel out. These engines are so high-end and they're high-strung. You can burn up an injector real quick, starving it for fuel, or sitting there trying to crank it. You could kill the battery. There's a lot of things that could happen. They're just small things that in the grand scheme of a motor is not a big deal, but it could prevent him from making it from where he's at to here.
And he has a supercharger on his car.
Oh wow. Man. So he's got that extra pull.
Exactly.
He's got to have full power of that battery. He's got to get that stuff done.
Right, exactly. So there's a lot of factors of when you run out of fuel in a high-performance engine like that. So we'll see what happens. Hopefully it starts right up and he has no issues.
Yeah, I do think that the Fultz, they have the experience, and those guys, they've been racing for years. They've got several cars now. It's a whole family affair. They're great guys. I think that those guys, they do. I think around St. Louis, they do a lot of asphalt work. They're used to working on things, making it happen in the construction industry. They're those guys that if you've got a problem, they can figure it out on the fly and get it going. So I look for them to get that car cranked and get back going again.
And they're going to try to do the full East Coast Series. He said this year. He said might come up and do some crane and stuff. He said obviously talking about visions. He said we're kind of excited for the series, and they seem really pumped to come out. He said, and every single person we've talked to all day has said how awesome the course is, how much fun they've had. So it's again, that's a testament to you guys setting up the great course. JT, race director, coming out and really working with it, and
Yeah, JT did a fantastic job. Gus Fisher and his team, the Mid-America team here in-house, they've been working on this course and working on the short course, which is always nice, but going out and expanding into the 918, making it exactly 9.18 miles per lap, which is really cool, which is the area code here is why we call it the 918. Everything just really came together. I know there's been a lot of changes and a lot of things. So we appreciate everybody supporting us as we make this merger, and we've had these weather delays and we've battled some things and battled elements, but it's really important to all of us that we keep pushing forward and we keep finding solutions. And look, there's going to be opportunities. We know there's opportunities right now. We're addressing those opportunities, coming in with solutions. We've got a lot of great people working together as a team. We're up for the task, and we're ready to take everything to the highest level we possibly can and elevate the whole sport.
And what's awesome too is you guys are listening to the racers. You're listening to them, and you're taking into account like what they're saying, what they're wanting, and all of that. So it's awesome to see where this whole entire sport is growing.
Yeah,
sure.
100%. I mean, without a doubt, people give us feedback all the time, and I think in the past people felt like they may have not been heard, or maybe it fell on deaf ears. Well, we want to be that change.
Right.
We want to be the face of change. We want to be able to take that feedback, use that, put all that data together, find the best opportunity for us to move the whole sport forward. And it's not always going to please everybody, but we want everybody to know that it's at least considered, you are heard, and that we are going to make the best decisions collectively for everybody moving forward.
Right.
And I think the end result of that is going to be real nice.
Yeah, we're excited, and I appreciate you coming up and talk to us. I know you're a very busy guy today, but I talked to a couple of people and said, hey, we'd love to get you up here and get 2 seconds of your time, get some questions answered. And
you know what I really like to, going back to race course, is here there's so much land and there's so much area that you guys, I mean, just this course, everybody's saying how fun this course is. Trevor was just here. His favorite part of the course was going through the barn because, racing through a barn. But there's so much land here, and I've said this, earlier on. There is so much that you can change, and every time they come back and race, they're not on the same race course. So it won't be a repetitive race if that's something you guys end up doing.
Look, no one's ever come back to Mid-America and said, oh, it's just the same old race course. We don't leave nothing the same. We're all about change. We're about evolution, making things stronger, better, faster, wilder. It's always going to be the biggest, best thing.
Right, and it's super cool though, because I know that every race course or every track that we go to, they do try to change it up for everybody so it's not repetitive. So it's really cool to see how much land you guys can actually change up here. So here we have Mr. Dwayne Garrettson just came through. He'll come through one more time to get that white flag on his next lap.
Again, our next guest coming up is a guy that you guys have heard lots about, but you don't know his name yet. His name is Jason, and he's kind of a big deal here. We appreciate you taking time to come up and talk to us today, Jason.
Welcome, Jason.
Hello. So tell us how your last few weeks has been.
Busy. Whole lot, but it's exciting. It's exciting but busy.
Again, it's been exciting to see. I'm sure it's even a little more nerve-wracking for you having so much stuff changed in the last few weeks.
They have, and I'm going to go ahead and throw this out here. This is going to be a rare thing that I do. This isn't what I do.
Well, thank you.
Let's get this over with, and I'm here.
Well, I'm honored that you're up here. That's awesome.
We appreciate you coming up with us and talking to us and giving a couple minutes. And I got to talk to, Joey today. We talked to some of the racers. I got to talk to JT and kind of ask them all questions. But it's kind of good. Everybody sometimes wants to hear from the man. So I figure, it'd be great to get you online for a couple minutes and just answer some questions that a lot of people had. And again, we've talked a little bit about that. We had Christine on here this morning. She gave us, we kind of dove into some nuts and bolts stuff. So kind of tell us how the last couple weeks have evolved and what kind of we can look to see the future.
Well, just kind of skipping over all the business side of it and everything. As everybody knows, a week ago, we acquired Ultra 4. Now, the one thing I want to make clear is everybody understands this is not an Ultra 4 race.
This isn't an Ultra 4 race, yep.
This is a conglomeration of AOE, Ultra 4, trying to do our best of making the season as productive as possible without upsetting as many people. So the last week, I feel sorry for everybody that's had to take a million phone calls, the different changes, the different things that's happened. It's really been, honestly, a blessing to see that I've got a team that is willing to step up to the task. That, for me, has made it worthwhile. Do we have a lot that we need to fix and make better? Without a doubt. I am committed to that. I will provide the tools, the means to do what we need to do to take this to the next level.
Yeah.
Today we've learned a lot.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Learned a whole lot. The live feed, it's new to us.
Yes.
We've got some things that we're going to change there, some of the safety issues that we've got to correct, some of the staffing, the communication between all of us. It's one of those things that it's evolving, but it's going to evolve very fast.
It is.
Number one, safety.
Yeah.
It's got to be there first and foremost. We've had a couple of hiccups today. Nobody's got hurt. No problems there. But we're not gonna sacrifice anything with safety. We are about entertainment. We're about more than just a race here. So some of the other production you've seen today it's been great, but at the same time, it's only racers here today because we've taken away and had to restructure our program for this event to get it in here. We've had to cut out hill climb. We've had to cut out pit bikes. We've had to cut out the ATVs and motorcycles, the demo derby. Those were all things we didn't want to do. But we needed to focus on this part of it and this part alone today. So that's kind of where we came from. I think everybody's having a great time, the people that are here.
Everybody we've interviewed had said how much fun this course has been, how much fun they've had here. Look into the future. What kind of stuff can we see coming down the rest of the season?
In the future, we have I guess Moab's next.
It is a couple weeks away.
We'll be showing up there in a couple weeks. I think about 3 weeks. Don't rush me.
Yeah.
But anyway, about things will be a little bit different, a little bit more structured. Our teams actually now have had the opportunity to work together. We've seen our weaknesses. We've seen our strengths. We're going to tie those together now.
Yep.
And as far as the rest of the year comes, we're just going to continue to grow that, and we're going to take Ultra 4 and we're going to make it a part of an event to where people, the family, the friends, the opportunities, we're going to blend other lifestyles in the same culture as with hill climbs and drag races or pit bikes or just other entertaining things, along with entertainment at night, whether it's live music or whatever it be.
Yeah.
We're creating events is what we're trying to do.
And again, anybody who's seen the stuff from Visions last year knows that is obviously just such an insane task to take everything from off-road racing to rodeos and put them all together in the same week, same time.
Forgot about the rodeos.
So it's super neat. It's super neat to see that kind of big conglomerate all come together, and it's such a fun week. There's always kind of new and different stuff. And I was talking to Christine this morning, and I said, "There's some stuff." We were at a concert last year, and then we saw a guy get fired out of a cannon. That was not on any flyers anywhere. I said, "So Jason always has some stuff tucked up his sleeve that he doesn't tell anybody about until it happens." So it's
the jugglers and the high line walkers I've got this year is just incredible.
Yeah, so that's super cool to see. Again, next week, kicking off your short course series. I know there's some cool stuff you have doing with that.
We do. We've got Billy Champion is the race director for our Mid-America Racing Short Course Series and our Pit Bikes Series. That all kicks off next week. Billy is very capable and has expanded our Short Course Series to, we were named the #1 short course race in the country by a few people that know what they're talking about, I guess. I don't know. I'm kind of new to the race side of things, but Billy's done an excellent job, him and his team. We support him fully, and we've got some really fun stuff coming. We do have a new track we're going to build.
Oh, nice.
We're going to bring in, we're going to build a top-level national track that trucks can race on, and we're going to expand, hopefully, that program here in the next couple of years. That's coming. We've got new drag strips coming. We've got sand drags, asphalt drags, a rhythm course that is we're going to add up there in that same area. We've also got a large enclosed building that we'll be moving some of our pit bikes, arena cross stuff in.
Which is insane. To be like, hey, we're going to have races, and then we're going to put them indoors.
Right.
Like, this is going to be awesome. No matter what the weather is, we can still do some cool stuff inside. It'll be super exciting to see, I'm sure.
Well, Mid-America is about the culture, everything off-roading. Anything, doesn't matter your lifestyle, if you're just a trail rider, we've got things for you to do. If you just want to spend a family weekend with your kids, we have that. We always want to focus on that fun, family-friendly events.
And it's super awesome to see. Like I said, just looking at Visions so far. Christina talked about tickets drop for that April 15th, so they can go online and get those done. Start getting. Obviously you guys have added 400, almost 500 spots for RV hookups. You guys had like 50 or 75 cabins or whatever it is. They have tons of stuff. So whatever your budget.
Well, for primitive camping, we've even got enough spots for 4,000 more.
Wow.
4,000 more spots.
So you can bring the friends, the family, the kitchen sink, whatever it is, whatever your budget is, they can make it work for you. So
we're just getting started.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Everybody just shakes their head at where we're actually going. We're literally just getting started.
It's crazy.
So we've. I also wanted to bring up the fact that we've also acquired John and Edie Sumner's Big Meat Run, which is about 20 miles from here. It's one of the top rock crawling events in the country, and that's next weekend as well.
And next weekend, so we'll have short course racing and Big Meats Run both going on next weekend.
Same weekend. So
a lot of
just
people.
Kick it off with a bang. Nothing wrong with that.
we'll have about 20,000 people into the community next weekend.
That's crazy.
Flooding in here for the events that we have. So this is kind of a blessing in disguise that we're not full this weekend. We can focus on this, and then we can shift gears, do our first short course race, do the Big Meat Run, merge those two together, and then we can focus on Moab and get back to work on
it is, and I'm sure you'll see people coming, from Big Meats Run down to the course section, people from the short course section heading down to Big Meats Run. So I'm sure you'll see a lot of cross. And again, like I said, kicking off that short course series, I know we had talked earlier about how much you were super excited about that and how it's going to. You want to raise that to be such an elite race program. And which obviously the short course guys and side by sides are absolutely exploding right now. So to see those,
if they realize the track that we're actually building, this is a tough course because we have rocks. We are on a rock farm here, so it's look around. We had a lot of snow, a lot of rain, and we've got a little bit of muck on top, but it's still solid ground. We can still race. Doesn't matter if we get 10 inches of rain, we can still race on this property here.
Yeah, and like I said, it's going to be pretty exciting. I know that you had talked a bunch about that, and we're pretty excited to see that and some of the altar changes. We talked about also having, Visions, tons of stuff going on the Driver's Summit, which we had talked a little bit about, and what is that going to entail?
The Driver's Summit is, realistically, we want the people, this whole series, the culture is about passion. We've got to find out what the racers want, what they need, what they're looking for to evolve this. We want to do that together with the racers. So that Driver Summit at Visions is an invitation to where we can sit down and have a face-to-face conversation with them.
Yeah.
We're not airing out stuff online.
Yeah.
We're sitting down. We're going to make some changes, and we're going to make positive changes that if they work, we're going to stick with them, and we're going to grow them. If they don't work, we're going to scratch them, and we're going to figure out what the right recipe is.
Which is so great and so comforting to a racer to hear that, to go, hey, listen, we've tried some stuff that may work, we tried some stuff that may not work, but we're going to do what's best for the racers in the end. So to hear that is so comforting and so exciting to see what's going to come down for the future.
Well, I'll tell you, this week alone, we've had to listen to our racers. What is it that you need? What is it that you would like to see the changes? And listening to them, there was a lot of good things, that feedback that came out, and we were able to make some educated decisions instead of swinging at and missing at what they wanted. So this has got to evolve. We're literally a week old in this program. So, we appreciate the patience that people are giving us, and we expect to evolve. We expect to do better. We expect to strive to be the best out there. And we want to be a part of everybody else that makes the culture and the sport what it is. So that's our program. That's joining it together, moving forward, giving more opportunities for racers, more opportunities for the fans, and absolutely more opportunities for our marketing partners.
Right. It makes everybody happy, too.
Absolutely.
And what we've been talking about, too, with the Driver Summit is the racers that are at home that are not here with us this weekend, start writing down your questions or your suggestions, and then, you come prepared or whatever to JT and start preparing now for it, because there could be a lot of changes and a lot of questions and where is it going?
And I'm sure some of those we will address in the next few months. From now until Visions, there's some stuff we might modify, change, or we'll see things evolve and how we can all do better. And so I'm sure some of those questions will get answered. Some of them won't. And if you have a question, there's a good chance that there's a couple hundred other people who have the same question.
Absolutely. So I
know you're a busy guy and you got to get back to it. So I just want to say thanks. It really appreciates. I'm a racer and I'm a fan first and foremost, so I like having somebody that can go, hey, what about this? Or somebody to answer our questions is really awesome. So that's why I'm super glad we can get you up here today and kind of introduce yourself, say your name, say hi, and kind of answer some of the questions that I'm sure a lot of people out there, because the series has changed so much so quick. I'm sure a lot of those people had those same questions. So
Absolutely.
So to hear that from the guy who's kind of calling the shots, it's always good to get that information out and talk to you. So I really appreciate you coming up and taking your time and talking to us. So
I appreciate the opportunity, guys.
Thanks.
Well, thank you.
Appreciate it.
We good?
All right, everybody. That was Jason. We appreciate him coming up and talking to us. Again, we got a few laps left on our short course section.
So Dwayne Garrettson came through. He's probably next time around he should be getting the white flag.
I think so. Again, hopefully we can get a leaderboard up there and check that. See if we can.
It's been a great day.
It has been. It has been a great day of racing. And like I said, everybody that's come through has been super pumped. And
somebody turned the AC on.
Yeah,
though.
I know. It's a little breezy out here this morning. It was great when you saw the aerial shots. You'll have to go back and watch some of the live stream. The aerial shots, you can see the course and then the snow all around it everywhere else.
Absolutely, it actually made for a great visual.
Yeah, it did definitely. But now it's like the most of the snow is melted in the majority of the areas.
Yeah.
So
I see we got our white flag up there. So I don't know
if we've
had our final lap yet, or they're getting close.
Well, Dwayne should be getting the white flag as it played out, him coming through.
And we'll see if
last time, because I have not seen Connor go through, and he was the one running with the fuel on his back.
Yeah, he was close. Again, watching those guys, I mean, sucking down 9 quick was pretty crazy. Him and his brother have like identical cars, other than his motor's a little bigger, and their fuel strategy didn't quite go according to plan. So.
Right. Well, he said, so Trevor was up here, and he said that Connor's motor's about 1,000 horsepower to where his is only 800 horsepower. And Connor also has a supercharger on his for where Trevor does not.
Yep.
So it's interesting to see how different pit strategies. Again, we got the 4,400 cars. They're coming up here very, very shortly. So exciting to see.
So once this race is over, they'll do all the safety precautions, clear course, make sure all course is clear, and then what we'll do is we'll get on with the 4,400 race. But we first and foremost, safety first, clear the course. So thank you again, Jason, for coming up here. Thank you again for coming on.
All those things, I have no idea what they're talking about.
Again, we appreciate Jason coming up and talking to us. Again, he is the man at Mid-America Off-Road, so we appreciate him coming up and talking to us. And it's always good to get kind of the big boss's perspective on a lot of things. So he has good stuff in the works and does truly care about the racer to try to promote the series. And we appreciate him and working towards it. So it's super excited to see those what and cool stuff they have in the works. Again, there's that drone shot of the barn down there. So we'll see what I don't see any cars on course now. I know we're down to kind of a few of them. So I'm not sure how many cars we still have on course. I know there's not a ton of them, but we're trying to see what. Again, I see our checkerman has the white flag out, so I think we only have a few laps left. There's Dwayne Garrison with he's on lap 8. Again, Connor Foltz. Connor Foltz is out of the course. We're trying to get Trevor, see if Trevor is he is out currently, but we're trying to see if he can't get his buggy, get some fuel back in there. So, all right, I'm getting word. Again, that was Justin Blarth, and he has one more lap to go. So he's finishing his, I believe that's his 8th lap. So he went from 7th to 8th, so he still has actually 2 laps to go. So we're trying to see where our leader's at. Again, Dwayne Garrison is out there.
So Dwayne Garrison should be coming by getting the white flag. He is up there waiting. But, yeah, Justin Barth, if he gets past Connor, that will put him in that number 2 spot. But we did see Connor running with the 10-gallon jug on his back.
I think there's enough time since they're both on their 8th lap. I think they are both – I think they both have enough time. He has plenty of time to get back there, get it put in, and take care of it. Unfortunately, Trevor was knocked down to 4th place by Justin, so that kind of stinks to see him. But he also did break on lap 7.
That is true.
I mean, obviously you hate seeing him get bumped down, but it's they got, a good time to come out and race, have some fun. So appreciate those guys coming out and again seeing two brothers out battling out. You know those guys were out there thrashing hard on their rigs. So
well, we heard it directly from Trevor. He was so thankful his brother didn't actually nerf him on course.
Yes, he said, I appreciate that. Again, it's 4:08. We were supposed to kick the big cars off at 4 o'clock. We got about, I'm going to say, 15 to 20 more minutes of the EMC. Okay.
So Dwayne actually, he's only going to get the white flag. And if they're running about 17, 18-minute lap, and he is not over here quite yet, we have probably roughly 25, 30 minutes maybe.
Yeah, I was saying like 15 to 20 depending on how soon Dwayne comes in. So, but yeah, maybe closer to 30.
Because he's only going to get the white flag.
Yeah.
One more lap plus.
And right now his last lap was 21 minutes, so we might be 40 minutes out.
Yes. So everybody just make sure you stay tuned in. I mean, racing's racing.
Yes,
so.
we were supposed to go live at 4 o'clock for the big cars, but we have to get all the EMC guys finished so we can get the big cars out there. Again, we only have, I think, 2 guys running basically right now.
Justin Barth, Dwayne
Garrettson, and then
once
Connor hopefully will get back in there. So, again, we got 3 cars. 2 cars running. We have possibly a third getting back in there. So, really, it's our podium. Our podium is battling it out,
right.
you know?
Well, they're not really battling it out, per se, but they're still running on course.
I would say they're battling it because the second, Justin and Connor are both, I mean, that's, it's going to be
here comes Dwayne Garrettson right now. I just saw him. Actually, that was not Dwayne. That was Connor's car. So, it looks like they're both over here together, but Connor was out of fuel. We'll see it I'm sorry. I'm peeking around the trailer.
I see. I was trying to lean back in my chair, too, to see.
See, I got you wanted that side. I'm glad I took the side. I get the inside scoop on what's coming up.
Trying to see what's going on?
Yeah, they're coming around the corner right now, which is that corner where. Okay, so that is Connor.
Again,
he's going to stop in and get fuel because he's not going to run out again.
He only threw probably.
Dwayne across, getting that
white flag.
He makes that jump look so smooth.
It is.
His landing is so smooth.
Again, if Connor can get fueled quickly and take off, that keeps him in second place.
Yes, because Justin Barth is lap 7, where Connor's lap 8.
So again.
But Dwayne Garrettson, if he ran a 21-minute lap, that was a 19:08 just now on his last lap. So if he runs another 19-minute lap,
we could be done.
We'll have our finisher.
All right.
But then it's all about safety, clear course.
Now Connor's car does not sound good at all.
He sounded like that earlier, though, too, and then he ended up leading.
And maybe, you know what? Maybe that's why he ran out of fuel, is because it was dumping too much fuel in there.
Yeah, it's running too rich, maybe.
Yeah.
But
so dumping too much fuel. Again, like I said, it could be a bad ground wire, bad sensor. It could be a dozen different things leading to why it's not running properly.
But definitely having a rich motor like that.
Okay. Again, you can see the white flag there. So, again, after this point, everybody's getting the white flag.
You can see the breeze is picked up here a little bit.
It's a little chilly.
Actually, coming from behind us, too, so that's not a good thing.
Temperature's starting to drop. Yeah, we might slowly start slinking into the trailer here.
Yeah.
So
it's not going to do any good.
Yeah, well, if you have that door shut and you're inside, it blocks the wind. So it does a lot.
This door?
No,
it's coming this way.
Shut that door and pull inside. but the wind can't blow in a container. So
no, that is true.
We shut the door and we usually will slink inside if the wind's blowing real hard. Me and Bree are.
You're seasoned in this trailer.
Yes. We also have an awning, so if it's really hot, we'll take our awning and put our awning out over us.
That's nice.
So if it's really sunny or rainy, we can put that out and it helps out. So
I remember at Kentucky when Miles and I were sitting on the back door of this trailer and it started raining on us a little bit, but that was not put out for. I didn't know that was there.
It's handy. We if it's really hot, there's a few races in the summertime. You're in the south in the summertime, you could absolutely bake down there. So we'll put the awning out. Now we don't end up with a sunburn, or just keep the sun off of you.
Right.
Or if it's raining, if it's just a little sprinkle, we'll usually be okay. But
have some kind of protection.
MacBooks don't work real well in the rain.
No.
So we try to keep them nice and clean, not soaked in water. And then obviously our notes, usually Bree has a notebook out. She keeps me on track. So Again, it was super awesome to see Jason up here. Have kind of Q&A. I talked to him last night at Drivers Meeting and said, hey, we'd love to get you on the live feed and chat with you a little bit. Just kind of go over stuff. It's always good to hear from the horse's mouth himself. So that's kind of cool to not many places can you get the owner up and ask him questions and hear kind of the same thing from everybody on staff as well as the owner. So that's always really nice. And again, that means a lot to me as a racer, but also as a fan. It's kind of nice to hear that information. So, and I'm sure he's a very busy guy right now, trying to get everything straightened out. So, super cool to see.
There's so much going on. It
is. He's like, next week we have basically two different huge events
back to back,
both going on like 10 miles apart. So it's kind of crazy to see that, but. Again, like I said, I went to Big Meets Run 10, 15 years ago, 10, 12 years ago, and it's a blast. So I think there's some super cool things going on in there.
I never knew about that event.
Yeah.
It's horrible that
it's a good time.
I didn't realize, to be honest with you, until, I got into the off-road Ultra 4 world, I did not know that there were so many events that actually took place here in Oklahoma. I was born in Oklahoma, but I haven't been here for years.
Even off-road events, even on the East Coast, there's so many off-road events on the East Coast that people don't know about just because they're not the king of hammers, let's say.
Right.
So there's smaller events, not publicized. My brother goes to Black Mountain. There's a big event down there. Eastern Jeep Safari. Obviously, Eastern Jeep Safari is so huge. Everybody hears about that. King of Hammers, Jeep Beach. But Fall Crawl and Black Mountain, that's a big one. Indy Off-Road Jamboree is a huge one. Going on 35, 40 years. It happens in Indianapolis. It's a big jamboree of all kinds of trucks, and it's just awesome to go to. I mean, there's some smaller events. There's like a little mud drag in my hometown. We call it the Pony Express Days. It's been going on for about 40 years, and there's we have 20, 30 racers show up to it in different classes, and it's a good time. And it's literally 8 miles from my house. So I mean, I love there's some smaller events, but there's also some huge events that just maybe aren't super well publicized, but they're a lot of fun to go to. Super awesome people. Like I said, my brother, I think, was one who told me about Big Meets Run. We came out 10, 12 years ago, went to it, and it's super cool to see. And
sounds like it's super cool.
It's a lot of fun. They have some cool stuff, and everybody gets out and has a good time with it.
Yeah.
I see we got some racers zipping by us here.
Well, that is actually, you can hear it. Now I understand what Trevor was saying about his brother's car sounding like Casey Gilbert's. Yeah. It's very similar. Very similar. But, yeah, that was actually him. That was him going across over here on the hill. We do have somebody, it looks like, coming in with getting the white flag, which that is Troy Digby coming in, getting that white flag.
Again, I'm not sure what lap he's on.
So we have Mr. Chip McLaughlin standing over here. He's all geared up because he's getting ready to race here.
Part of that Rufus Racing team.
Shortly.
What's up, buddy? Yeah.
Who was that? Travis Horsey. Oh, Travis Horsey's out. That's a bummer. It
With
sounds
electrical
like
issues, man, that stings.
Peanut, for those of you that do not know his real name.
Yeah.
Part of Rufus Racing. That's another great crew. That's just one big happy family. They're always in a good mood, smiling. We got Brad Christensen standing next to him over here.
Walking away. He's like, nah, I don't know.
Brad is Chip's
co-driver.
He's like, I'm getting away. I'm not going on camera.
Again, I think we got. See who we got coming up. I see a white flag getting out. We can't be too many more minutes out from the checkered flag. So.
Well, we probably are. I'm going to guesstimate. If I have to guesstimate, I'm going to say. Let's see. Let's bet. I'm going to say 12 minutes.
Okay, that put us at 4:29. I would say that's about spot right.
I am no Miles, who's usually spot on.
Yeah, no, Miles would be like, no, it's 11 minutes and 37 seconds.
And be like right within like a second of it.
He'll have 37 PSI in the front tire. Like, Miles, how do you know that? He's like, I have a tracker in his car. It's okay.
Because he's been around this so long.
It's incredible. I love Miles. I tell people all the time, at Ultra 4 races, usually if we sound smart, it's because Miles is in the production trailer talking to us, telling us what to say. Like, usually if we're like, wow, that guy seems really informative.
He does so much homework. This is the thing is.
And he's done it for so long.
If you talk to him and he has these sheets of racer info.
Yeah.
He has probably 200 hours in
every bit of
homework.
Yeah.
Because he goes into the pits and he talks to the drivers and he gets all this information. He's been around us since, 2011 or 12 or something like that. or maybe even longer
I'll
than
say
that.
it's probably before that even. I think
So-
he's been with Ultra 4, I think 10, 12 years, something
Yeah,
like
I'm
that.
not sure, but
And I
just
asked him one day, I said,
compiling.
how did you get started? He said, well, there was a contest, and I was like, please tell me more. He said, well, there's a contest, and it was like you had to send like a YouTube video to make like your own little YouTube video and
I
send
could
it
see him doing
and
that.
send it in because they had Ultra 4 had a contest to say, hey, we're looking for some people who can do some interviews in the pits and some other stuff, and there might be a little money involved or some cool swag, and we want somebody that's energetic and fun and likes the sport. So he made his little YouTube video and sent it in, and it was like way better than all the rest. And they're like, this guy, we got to get this guy. So they hired him, come on out, and he started doing it just like some pits. And he said, some of the first ones were not real great. He saw I was kind of a goober, just kind of like, hey, this car, that's pretty neat, And like all of us started out, as just a fan, like just a uber goober, and started out checking stuff out. And he started learning names and car numbers and car chassis and car types and who has what axle. And now it's creepy because he can literally see a car go by and tell you who owns the car and like the last 3 owners, what's it won, where it's raced at, what they've last time it crashed, what they break on it.
That's more of a super fan.
It is. It's so crazy. And even when he's not doing, obviously, for those of you who watch Ultra 4 King of Hammers, you can see Miles in the background doing interviews from the pits area, talking to people, and they'll do a lot of that video through the week. And then that way, during the big race of King of Hammers, they can throw to that footage and stuff. So he does some of that stuff without even a camera. Just walks over and, he'll walk into a guy's pit and stop and have a sandwich and talk to him and chit-chat and learn all this stuff.
They've not only a racer to him, they're also his friends.
Oh, totally, totally.
So, I mean, I don't per se go into the pits and talk to people. I mean, I'm not doing that, but
Miles
I
is like every night and hanging out. He'll just casually walk from pit to pit, talk to people, add a turkey leg at one pit. Next pit he might have a slice of pie, and chit chat and talk to people. And he learns so much by just if their grandma's sick or if they just had a baby, and it's so neat to have that huge, vast amount of knowledge. And luckily, he's now started making spreadsheets and putting driver's number. And obviously, some of that stuff there's no way you can put on a spreadsheet. Like, hey, this car used to belong to this guy, who used to belong to this guy, who built it from this car. Now it's in Europe.
King of the Hammers, we literally sat down like for I don't know how many hours, and we cross-referenced stuff together make sure.
I'm sure his spreadsheet's insane.
Yes, so like I had my laptop up, he had his laptop up, cross-referencing to make sure the registration, the people that were registered.
Yeah.
We would make it. He made a separate spreadsheet. So we only had just the registered instead of every single person.
Yeah.
So.
And even registration to qualifying to race day can change.
Right. Exactly, because people can late register and everything. But yeah, definitely super cool. So that on screen right there, that is Troy Digby. I'm not sure. I think he's the only one.
7th lap, I think.
So you have Dwayne Garrettson, who's leading right now in his class. Troy Digby. So in just the 4500 modified, if we were doing placement that way, it'd be Dwayne Garrettson and Troy Digby because Cody St. Clair, I have not seen him go back through.
He was out, I think, around lap 4, lap 5. I'm not sure what he broke or what knocked him out. But.
And then in the 4800 Legends class, we have Justin Barth who's still running, and then Connor Foltz. Let's see here, because Connor came in and he got some fuel, but in the 4600 stock class, I
seen Tyler Simmons, I think, on his first lap in the Ford Bronco. I don't know if he broke early. I saw Mick Henderson quite a ways later. I saw him make 4 or 5 laps, and then
that's when he got
stuck or broke
out.
or not sure what happened there. So, yeah, I'm not sure what happened to him, but I did see him several laps after that. So that'd be your first and second finisher for the 4600 class.
Yes.
And Legends, we're still seeing how it shakes out. I mean, still got a couple guys on course, and a lot can happen in 20 minutes of endurance racing. So
yeah,
I think Dwayne Garrison will come in first. As at this point, Cody will come in second, or Connor Foltz will be second, and then Justin Barth will be your third place finisher overall for our EMC class.
Looks like they're preparing for cars to come in. They're moving the UTVs that we have been using for safety crew and transportation. This park is so big, there's no way you could come here without some kind of UTV or transportation.
And it's also interesting to see, I'm curious to see who our fastest lap of the big cars is going to be.
I know, right?
Obviously, the EMC guys are a little slower than the 4400 cars.
But
I'm curious who had the fastest lap of the EMC. just to see how that compares to the 4,400 cars.
I never saw anybody dip below the 17s.
Yeah, I think 17-something was our fastest.
17.
Like
yeah.
38 or 17:23, somewhere
But that
in there.
was early on, and I believe that was set by, I think it was Connor. Possibly. I think it was Connor.
Using that
we have it up right here.
Using that
it's
big
on
motor.
Your live
There we
screen.
go.
Oh, I like how you put that in the middle.
That's
handy.
Awesome.
Yeah. Yes. It's almost split screen now.
Yeah, it's almost split screen. Getting Dwayne is on lap 9. Foltz is on. He's down 1 lap on lane 8. Justin's on lane 7. Granted, it looks lap time, 1 lap remaining. It's showing the current lap time. Like I said, I still haven't found out who had the fastest lap of the EMC.
Nice.
Obviously, the EMC guys are probably going to get beat by the 4,400 car's fastest lap.
Well, yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
And I was going to say, I wonder what our fastest lap will be for the 4,400 cars.
I want to know what the fastest lap was for the UTV.
It was 16-something, I think. 15-something. 15-something.
15.
Ish.
I think I heard 15.7. 15
Sure.
7.
That sounds about right.
Is what I believe Joey's the one who said it.
15.
I know he's back here behind me.
Yeah.
Maybe he can remind me.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see
I think he's
what
cold.
our fastest. Yeah, it's the wind is starting to pick up and the sun is going down and it's getting very cold. So we're gonna move this table in and shut that door. I promise you. Because once we get into the once we get out of the sun, that sun starts going down. It gets real cold. We were out here getting and testing and checking everything out last night. And it was pretty chilly. About 10:30, we were trying to get everything wrapped up, and it was pretty breezy.
It was definitely chilly last night, for sure.
Yeah, that.
Okay.
Looks like he's got the checkered flag out. I don't know.
What did we say? I said
4:29. Yeah, it's 4:29. So it's
4 minutes.
4:25 now, but he has the checkered flag in his hand.
But I will be able to see him before he makes this last little turn.
That
was interesting to hear Trevor say he rolled over here.
Yeah, because we didn't see that. We didn't know that until he said it.
No, that.
And the fact he got it uprighted so quick and took back off again. I'm like,
I know, 'cause
that's awesome.
He was running in first place when that happened,
Yeah.
obviously.
And obviously his brother, between him and his brother, not a whole lot of time difference either.
No.
So until he broke.
No, so that was a quick correction on getting uprighted.
Extremely quick.
I see 2 people walking back.
And
that
not
is
good.
not good because I see a fuel cell on his back.
Oh.
So there's Connor.
That's Connor again?
Connor's walking back with a fuel cell on his back.
Oh, my gosh. Apparently. What the heck? So 2 laps in a row, he runs out of gas. I cannot believe that.
No, there's no way. Wait.
Barth? Oh. Well, the good news
Barth's
is
fueled up, though.
If it is Justin.
Justin walking back?
If it is Justin, then
I don't think
I think that locks in Connor's second place. The good news is if it's Barth, he still ends up with 3rd for the day. Again, look at our flags at the top there. You can see how fast those flags are blowing.
Here's Justin Barth is coming through right here.
Getting the white flag?
Getting the white flag, so yes.
Okay.
But walking back,
Is that
gotta
Cody?
be Connor.
Connor,
Well, they're
you would think.
they're getting picked up, so we'll find out.
You will.
Copy that.
Again, surely they would have put enough. They would have put enough fuel to make 1 lap.
Yeah, they just got picked up, and they are going to pit. Oh, here comes Dwayne Garrettson. What time is it? 4:27.
Oh, 2 minutes faster.
Oh,
wow.
Well, he's got probably 45 seconds before he's in. So we're going to go now. We are on with Mr. Joey Beck. It's all yours, Joey. That was Connor Foltz.
It was.
So I'm not sure who that was walking back with the fuel can then.
I don't know. I can't see him from my angle, but so that's Connor coming through on his second on his final lap. So he's starting his final lap. So he should be that. I think that should secure his
second place.
Second place finish.
Here's Dwayne Garrettson. Joey, it's all yours. Okay, so that was Dwayne Garrettson. He just came in. He got the checkered flag. He right now is your unofficial first place finisher in the EMC class.
Again, I'm not sure. Like I said, if Connor just ran through, I think Connor will be coming in second.
Well, Justin Barth is right in front of him, though.
So
Justin Barth got around him again. So right now, Justin Barth should be physically in second place.
Okay.
We need to see that on the leaderboard.
Yeah,
but,
I'll have to see.
Joey Beck is going to do some interviewing down here with Dwayne Garrettson. And, of course, everything's unofficial right now.
Hoping we get that fixed.
It wasn't.
It wasn't?
No, it got
All right, what about now? What about now? Are you seeing me now? Let's go over there.
All right, so Joey
Getting ready to do his interview.
is going to go live here in just a few minutes.
As he pulls up.
They're coming in now. We got Dwayne Garrettson coming in right behind me. Number 26, racing hard, completing all 10 laps out here at the 918. We're going to let him get turned around, and then we're going to interview him, see what he thought about the race out here at the 918 Grand Prix. The car's absolutely filthy. It's insane what this car has been through. He had a near flawless race, running hard all day. I'm excited to speak with him. We're going to give him a second to pull their helmets off. All right, I'm out here. These guys are pulling their helmets off as fast as they can. I'll be honest with you, they've had the visors down all day. Faces are a little cleaner than some that we've seen. These guys look like they're smiling from ear to ear. I know you got to be happy coming out here, starting the 918 Grand Prix race, winning the whole thing. How are you feeling?
Man, feeling amazing, man. This is an awesome facility. This was a super cool race course. It's all top-notch, man, and we're super stoked to be a part of it.
Well, tell me a little bit about race conditions out there. I know y'all started in the middle part of the day. You've been racing for a little over 2.5 hours. Tell me what's been going on out there. What's the battle been?
Man, early on the battle was pretty much the slickness. Now it's just attrition. You know, a lot of the tracks are drying up. Some of the big corners, you're not washing out too bad. So really it's just attrition, and I'm sure there's tires that are getting eaten up. But with the Yokohama, we're on top, baby.
Well, tell me this. The car looks like it's pretty much intact. Did you stop for anything else other than fuel today?
Unfortunately, we did stop. The guys told us we had a pretty good lead, and I had to pee. I need to wear this race suit for the 4400 car, so we pulled over and took a piss, and we still ended up on the box, man. It's an awesome day.
You heard it here first. We had time for bathroom breaks. We got a trophy. Let's bring it in here and hand it to him. Everybody at home, we want to congratulate you with the first place 918 Grand Prix. I love it, guys. Y'all celebrate. We'll let you back in. We're going to take some more pictures with you, and thank you for your interview. Would you like to thank any sponsors before I walk away?
Oh, yeah, man. First off, I would like to thank my co-driver, Jeremy, for all the hard work he puts in on the car, all the late nights, all the hours. Yokohama, Raceline, Yukon, PRP, Tom Woods Drive Shafts. Man, I don't even know. We have so many great sponsors. It's just incredible. It keeps this car going.
All right, man. You heard it here first. It takes an army. Appreciate you guys. Congratulations. To back him in and get him ready for a big
Yep, go ahead. We're live.
Woo. All right. right, we're back.
There
That
we
was
go.
Joey Beck interviewing our unofficial first place, Mr. Dwayne Garrettson.
That's the EMC class.
Yes.
That is a muddy, muddy rig.
And Dwayne Garrettson's in that 4500 modified class. They're going to back up to take that picture.
Again, I think we're waiting on our second place finisher. We had a little bit of a battle. I'm not sure. I know Connor ran out of fuel, so I don't know if he.
See that? Can we get that leaderboard up on there for us?
I'm not
sorry.
sure if he got his fuel put back in fast enough.
So he is. Huh.
I thought he did. I wasn't 100%.
Oh, because Justin's only on lap 8. I
Yes.
thought Justin had came in again, so I was
Well,
lap counting myself
they
wrong.
gave him the white flag, but I think that's only because that's going to be his last lap no matter what.
Gotcha.
Since we already had Dwayne Garrison pulling on the white flag,
Yes.
automatically everybody is getting the white flag.
right.
So I think that's maybe where.
Well, now everybody's getting checkered.
Yeah,
no matter what.
Yeah, now everybody gets a checkered. So I think that's Connor had headed out. I think just one lap ahead of him. That's why Connor ended up coming in second.
Because when Trevor was up here, he was saying if Justin, he must have miscounted laps too, because if he was saying that if Justin got around Trevor while he was still out there, that's what I had in my thoughts here.
Yeah, again, I said.
But hey.
Again, but if he hadn't got fuel put in fast enough, that's why I kind of said it was they're battling it out right now, because if one guy's on course running forward, the other guy has a backpack on a fuel running backwards on the course.
Right.
So if he doesn't get fuel in fast enough, or it takes too long to get fuel and doesn't get around him, he obviously gets bumped from second to third.
So I'm wondering who that was coming in with the.
I don't know. Maybe one of our other drivers we hadn't seen in a while.
Probably brought the can back. Oh my gosh, I'm getting so cold.
Yeah, it's getting pretty chilly pretty quick over here. That sun's dropping, temperature's going down pretty quick.
So you can see in the background, you might be able to see. Actually, they're behind Matt.
Joey's getting ready to interview.
Oh, there we go. Down to Joey. Go ahead.
Hey, guys, I'm down here in the pits. I want you to see all these guys that are coming by. Look over my shoulder. Look at all these tires. We got Maxxis tires, Netto tires, Raceline wheels. These guys are coming in. They're getting ready to stock the pits. What all these guys are doing, this is all the race teams are going to come down, get spun around. Then we're going to change out the pits to the 4400 class. These guys have been sitting here ready to go all day. They're on the screen. They know they're on the screen. We're excited to have them out here. We wanted to get some footage of all this rolling in. This is race production. These guys, it takes an army to keep these cars running, especially for 91.8 grueling miles out here on this course today. Everybody's got their chase trucks, race rigs. These guys are ready to party. Y'all ready to do this? Number 1, baby. All right, now we're getting to see some pretty good-looking cars. We got the 178 car right here, the Smith Off-Road. We got the STT truck, number 4423, Unlimited Racer, running those Maxxis tires. These guys coming in. This is just a small shot of some of the groups. We got more guys going to come in. We're going to stage these things up. We'll be letting some pyro go in a little while. The big fireball going, and that means the party's starting. Oh, yeah. I'm ready to see some unlimited car action.
All right, Joey was giving us some information.
All right, that looks like second.
Watching all the cars come through. We have
a checkered flag. I just saw somebody launch in. Was that Connor?
4514. That is Troy Digby. He just came in, got the checkered flag.
Again, because this is a Grand Prix style, everybody's getting checkered flag regardless of what lap they're on. We have a handful of guys all in different laps, so they're all coming in depending on what lap they're in. So this is checkered flag. Again, once we get a handful of these, we only got 2 or 3 guys that are going to come in right now.
But I believe that puts him in the 4th position.
4th place?
I think so, because if we have Dwayne Garrettson, who unofficially first place, then we have Connor Foltz.
Yep. Justin
Barth,
yep.
And I believe Troy is the other running vehicle that I've seen on course.
Put Trevor on 5th place, I think.
Possibly.
So that'd be your top 5 again unofficially. So that'd be your top 5 spots for the day for the EMC class. JT zooming by us, trying to get everything set up for the 4400 class about to kick off.
And I know that 45-14 is Troy Digby. All right, Joey is down there with Mr. Troy Digby at the 45-14. He'll be going on here just momentarily to interview him. All right, and we are live with Mr. Beck.
Down here with the 45-14 car. He just finished the race. They're getting him cleaned up right here, pulling his helmet off, getting everything ready to go. These guys are filthy from head to toe, having a lot of fun out here. I see some Raceline stickers on this car. They're pulling their helmets off. You got to be excited about that finish. Oh, man, they're getting ready. As soon as they get their helmets off, we're going to see if they got a few words for us. Fingers are frozen. We're getting reports of frozen fingers. I will tell you, it's been cold out here. It's been fun to watch you guys all day, having a lot of fun, looking like you come in here unofficial second place right now. All right, guys. So tell them who you are, tell them where you're from, and tell them how much fun you had.
Whew. I'm Troy Digby. I guess we got second unofficially, and that course is tough. It's tough. We had 2 flats, and we lost power steering fluid, and he ran back to pits and got fluid and some tools, and we're just glad to be finished. I mean, I don't know how many laps we did. 6? 6? I don't know. And yeah, it's just nice to be here. I can't wait to get out of the car.
Well, you guys did a fantastic job through adversity. These things, running out of fluid, having to come back to the pits, going to get more tires, your team working in the pits. That's what this Tyler racing's all about. It takes a whole team. We're proud of you guys. You got any sponsors you'd like to thank?
Well, I gotta thank Outlaw Off-Road in Charlotte, North Carolina. They let me off work, and they took care of my gas money and everything to get out here, and they've really helped us a lot. We've got Raceline wheels. They definitely. We're still hooked up. I can't get it off. They take care of us. We had no issues with the rims today. Just I guess we got a flat on the steep part. And then we got Barnes 4x4 in North Carolina also. Yeah. They take care of us with all their Heim joints and everything, all the brackets and tabs, and we couldn't do it without these guys.
What about that co-driver over there?
Oh, we got Tom over here. He stepped it up. He probably ran a mile back to pits. Got the fluid. Got it. I mean, because I was ready to call it quits. He's like, dude, it's just a loose fitting. And he was like, I'll go back to camp. And I was like, or back to pits. And I was like, I'm going to stay here with the car. And so, yeah. Couldn't have done it without him.
Well, man, we're excited for you guys. We're going to get you over here, and we're going to take a podium picture with you and the car, let y'all get out and hold some trophies. Congratulations, guys. Appreciate you guys. Y'all heard it here first. These guys having a blast out here at the 918 Grand Prix.
What is up? We're back. We have, I think, two more guys on course. I see the checkered flag guy up there. I think we have. I haven't seen the leaderboard here in a second, but we're.
Third place should be.
All right, guys, I'm down here. Looks like
Connor would be our second place guy, but he's not in yet.
He's not in yet.
And then Justin would be our third place, which he's not in yet. We are still waiting on two more guys.
Third place
That's
DMC. Cody St. Clair.
He's fifth, I believe. Okay. Yeah. All right. Joey's going to come up with Cody St. Clair. I believe he came in fifth.
All right, guys. I'm standing down here, unofficial third place. Cody St. Clair, tell me, guys, how much fun did you have out there today?
Well, I was having fun until I wasn't. But the course is an amazing course, and short course is one to come back for.
So tell me this. You had a little bit of trouble. You came down here to celebrate without the car. Tell me where the car's at. Tell me what's going on.
If I can remember, I think it's like mile marker like 3.5 is where the car broke. Basically, the outside of the spindle just broke off, and the whole wheel, knuckle, what's left of the spindle, wheel, and all that just went past us, and it spun us, and it's kind of where it sat.
Okay, well, who you got riding here with you today?
I got Dad.
So, Dad, what did you think about it being out there being co-driver today?
Oh, it was great. It was great. I had fun. He pushing hard, doing what he's supposed to do, and it's just one of those things that, it's attrition. The front left tire all of a sudden was out in front of us while we were going straight, and next thing you know, we spun around and we were at a dead stop. So.
Well, I'll tell you, you're not the only person that happened to. We watched it happen out here on the short course, saw a couple of those happen. So, guys, do you got any sponsors, anybody you'd like to thank?
Cooper Tires, we run their mud and their all-trains, and this racer put their mud tires on, and they were hooking up on the rocks and the mud and water and doing real good. Full throttle batteries, never had an issue with the car dying. Raceline wheels, Dave's Off-Road. He's Pennsylvania-based, but he helps us, gets all our parts and whatnot when we need them. I'm sure I'm missing a few, but Torco oil, transmission I don't think got above 210 degrees. Awesome. So I know I'm missing some, but.
Well, that's great, guys. We appreciate you coming out here. We're glad that you come out here and had a good finish and a good showing. Sounds like you had a lot of fun. Thank you, guys, and we'll see you at all the Ultra 4 regional races all season long. Get over there and celebrate. Thanks, guys.
All right, that was Cody Sinclair. We had him up here earlier and interviewed him. So he just came in third place, I believe, in class in the 4,500 modified class. Again, those guys are coming out of Texas, so excited to see him. Cody's a good guy. Him and his dad have been racing for a while. So super excited to see him out here and doing some racing. We have, I think, two more cars coming in. We still have Connor Foltz and Justin Blart to come in. Whoa, there we go. That is Justin, I believe. I think that's which Connor should be in second. So he should already be in here. We'll find out here shortly. Again, we had some cars scattered throughout our track, so we'll see what kind of place they came in with. And I believe if Connor is already in, if Connor is still out there, then that means he'll take in second place as long as he can make it to the finish line, because Justin was one lap behind him, I believe. Again, we can get the official race results here shortly. And once we get the course clear, make sure the course is clear, make sure it's ready to go, we will probably shut down, take a quick 2-minute break, and then kick off the 4,400 big dogs who all just came rolling through. I'm excited to see them. It's pretty exciting. Okay, sounds like we're going to have a Justin Barth interview coming up real quick. I think this will be our last interview before we shut down, I think is what they said. So we'll do his interview, and then we'll go ahead and shut down the live feed, take a quick 2-minute break, make sure the course is clear, make sure everything's ready to go, and then we'll fire back up and watch the 4,400 cars. So, again, we'll be going live here shortly once we wrap up this interview. I believe this is Justin. Joey is going to do the Justin interview real quick.
All right, man, I'm over here with my buddy Justin Barth. Justin, that was a grueling race. You're out here. I think you got 9 of the 10 laps, if I'm not mistaken. I think so. All right, man, tell me about the race course. Tell me what was going on out there.
Man, we ran the Razor this morning, so it was 20 laps, so that's quite a bit. It's pretty rough out there. Pre-running, I didn't think it was quite as bad, but just 10 of those laps is a lot. 90 miles is quite a bit. We had the pole position today, and we had a good start, but I threw a belt right off the bat and about halfway down the short course, so I had to stop and change that. Otherwise, we might have been more up front, but still happy with the second-place finish, and thank everybody for coming out and all the spectators and all the race staff and all the volunteers and everybody. We appreciate you guys.
Man, I know everybody's been battling something. We've heard about tires and spindles and fuel and different things. Outside of throwing that belt, how did the car perform today?
Threw the belt twice. It doesn't like the creek crossings, apparently. So that's what was getting us. So we were maybe possibly going a little slower through some of those after I threw it the second time, trying to just not throw up so much water and keep it on the car. Because I walked about 100 yards looking for it the first time because I couldn't get the spare on. Anyways, but car performed great besides that. Motor's running good. Side axle car out here did well. These Nitto tires are doing great. Everything held up well.
All right, man. You got anybody you need to thank? Anybody back home supporting you?
Oh, I just need to thank all my guys that are here with me. Thank Abby for watching the kiddo today, and thank my guys, Jason and Matt and Paul and everybody that's here that's supporting us and part of my pit staff. You know, it's part of my pit crew. You can't do it without all them. So they were able to help me out a little bit today and take care of some things, and you can't do it without just having all that extra help. So appreciate them.
It does take a team, and your program's been growing. So great job, Justin Barth. Guys, it's a feat just to finish this race, to finish it in one piece and to do it in style. After running the UTV race back-to-back, you've had 5 hours total in that seat today. That's a real racer, a real enthusiast, and we're happy to have you on board. Thanks, see you, buddy.
Appreciate you, brother. Thank you, guys.
Right, and we're back. And we're going to go ahead and shut the live feed down. We'll take a quick 2-minute break, and then we're going to go to the 4400 cars. So we'll see you guys back here shortly.